check one, two. Check one, two. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Shemaine Bill saying, welcome. I really want to know podcast, man. I am back, y'all. What's happening? How y'all feeling? What's going on? It's been a minute. It's been over 2 months. I know it's gonna be a lot of questions today. And we're gonna get into it. And today we are kicking off our new Tuesday platform. So every Tuesday we're gonna do crime and punishment Tuesday. And today we're going to talk about, should AI replace judges? So that's going to be the main, that's going to be the main topic of the show. But I know there's going to be a lot of questions as to what's going on with me, what happened to me, and all that good stuff. It has everything to do with judges and prosecutors, and the police. So yeah, I'm definitely going to share that, and we're going to get into it. And then every Tuesday we're going to be talking about this sort of stuff. So, I'm still trying to get the dust off, so to speak, man. I haven't been back here, doing my thing, behind the, not behind the scenes, but actually producing the show while I'm actually talking. So forgive me in advance, right? Forgive me in advance for screwing stuff up. Let me check to make sure the audio's good. I think the audio's okay. Looks like the video is fine. I appreciate everybody. Appreciate everybody that's here. So yeah, man, without wasting any more time, let's get into it. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. All right, get some indeed. So yeah, we're about to get into this. We're looking at I'm just setting everything up. StreamYard has made some changes since I've been gone. So I'm looking, like, I start everything up, and like stuff looks different. There's different logos, and I think StreamYard got bought out or partnered up with a really big entity, I think. So they're making a lot of changes. They're doing a lot of good stuff. And every time I hit something, there's like pop-ups, this is our new thing. This is a new feature. This is it. And I'm like, I'm doing the show right now, man. I ain't got time to be looking at these new features. How do I do what I was doing before? So that's why I'm kind of moving a little sluggish. What's good, sis? Miss AKA Lady is in the building. Don DeMarco to you for looking for me. You know what I mean? Straight up, Don DeMarco.
Don DeMarco.
I mean, so many of my day ones were trying to hunt me down, trying to figure out what's going on, and I truly appreciate it. Cody is King, Mandrell, Miss AKA Lady, just to name a few. Prince was out there looking for me. There's so many folks looking for me, man. I really appreciate it. I'm going to wait till more people get in before I start telling the story, because once I start telling the story, I don't want to have to restart. So we're going to we got like 6 folks here, man. And when you guys come in, do me a favor, hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe, because the algorithm don't know us anymore. We don't exist to the algorithm anymore because we were gone for so long. So we got to get back into it. You're going to see me dropping shorts and like YouTube shorts, and then making shorter content and trying to just post multiple things a day. I'm going to try real hard. Again, getting back into the swing of things, I had to kind of get reintegrated and catch up on stuff. And it was just a whole lot of stuff that I was doing. And we're definitely going to talk about all that. Shout out to the Facebook folks who might be out there, man. Shout out to the people on X. We're broadcasting on X. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. I tried to get on Instagram, but it's a little more to it. I got to do some stuff on my Instagram, and you just got to do more work. So once I get all that work done, I think I'll be able to just click and it'll go there. But like I said, before my break, before my vacation, my pause, what you want to call it, let's call it what it is, before my incarceration. Because yeah, I got locked up. I got locked up. Never been in trouble before, but before that, I was trying to increase my reach and just trying to, get out here and like for this year, especially 2026, I'm gonna go really hard with this YouTube thing, and just see how far we can get and how much we can grow. So So I'm definitely going to entertain any and all questions about what we're going to be talking about here. My bad, I'm looking at everything. Yeah, I'm going to. Oh, they got new widgets. They got all kind of new stuff here. Yeah, girl. She's like, what the hell? Yeah, 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 yeah. DL Saint, your man. You know what I'm saying? Got snatched up. Now, so yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna start with what went on with me before we get into just the regular show itself. I'm gonna talk about what happened now, and then we'll roll into um, my thoughts on judges and the whole system as it applies to should judges be replaced with AI. So back in January, I was working as a contractor for a company that was working for a rental company at the airport here where I live. And I took on this job really just so I can move around because I was in the house too much. The only thing I was doing was going out and taking my daughter to school and picking her up, doing the school year, and then taking her to her mom's on the weekend and pick her up for on Sundays. And then in the summer, my daughter pretty much went wherever she wanted. She wanted to go to her mom's. I took her there. She wanted to stay home. She stayed home, which is pretty much what we're doing now. Like she's here now. But I'm working for this contractor. And one of the managers, I guess, for Avis came up and was yelling and making a whole lot of noise and saying a bunch of things. I didn't know the guy was talking to me. Someone pointed it out, like, yo, this dude's talking to you. And, it's just something that you don't do. And, today in today's society, um, we have people who don't have real social skills. And we have these generations that were raised totally different. Although we're all Americans, we were raised in different Americas, if that makes sense, right? So I come from the 70s and 80s. We did things way different back then. And then this guy, I don't know what cohort he's in. The guy he might be a millennial, he might be Gen X like me, he might be Gen Z, I don't know. But this guy, his social skills weren't there. And he was yelling and saying some stuff and talking down. And, long story boring. And I put my hands on dude. Like, I beat dude up. Right? Like, so, but again, in my mind, and to the police, because the police were called or whatever, this is at the workplace. I put my hands on dude. Like, and don't think that I just turned around and just jumped on him. I tried to talk to him. I tried to be professional, and the guy just continued to talk down, very demeaning, very condescending, and he wouldn't answer questions. He wouldn't do things that I was asking him to do, like just extremely unprofessional. And add to that, yo, Uncle Saint here is diagnosed with PTSD. Right? I'm a paratrooper. I've gone to war. I've done things. Plus, I came up in the streets. So there's a lot of things that are swirling around up in here that at the time I didn't acknowledge. You feel me? I just didn't acknowledge. So what happened? Well, I dealt with it the way I dealt with this sort of thing throughout my life. You know what I'm saying? If in my generation, in my age, for Gen Xers to tell you this, older millennials to tell you this, baby boomers to tell you this, if you get big, and by getting big, I mean you yell, you raise your voice, you're trying to be condescending and demeaning towards another man, you argue with another man, there is a really good chance that it's going to be violence. It's going to be violent. It's going to be a fight, bro. Right? If you come up, and this is why social media is so wild, because we're not in the same room. You got all these keyboard warriors and people be in the chat saying what they say and whatever. They know that you're not there. You can't get to them. So all the cohorts, I think all the generations understand that when men get heated, that it could end up in violence, especially if you're dealing with a certain type of guy. You're dealing with a guy like who's really from the hood, that's been in the streets heavy, like not necessarily gang banging, but maybe affiliated, just been fighting his whole life. Athletes, been fighting in the locker room, fighting on the field, fighting on the court, fighting on the baseball diamond, fighting on the ice, fighting. I mean? It's just how it is, like alpha type athletes, soldiers, sailors, Marines, right? It's just the way that these men handle things is different than what society wants today. So, dude got beat up. And I'm using that term loosely because I didn't unleash on the guy. There was no broken bones. There was no blood. There was no black eyes. There was no swelling. You know what I mean? There was no, there was nothing. Right? There was nothing. It was a guy who threw himself on the ground and started screaming for help. It was really pathetic, if you ask me, because it's like, all right, this dude's a coward. And once I realized that, I immediately stopped. So it wasn't like I was beating him down, using my fists, using my elbows, my head, my knees, my feet. It wasn't none of that, right? I really thought the dude, like the way the guy was talking to me, I just assumed that he wanted the business. Like, I'm like, men don't talk to other men like this. He must really want to get his ass whooped. That's what I assumed. So, and add to the fact, like I said, diagnosed with PTSD and was having a bad day. So I beat dude up. This guy calls the police, calls paramedics. Like, it was a big thing. I'm just kind of standing there like, okay, I know what's going on now. It's not going to do me any good to go running, right? Or try to get away. I'm at the airport. My car is parked at a remote parking lot where the employees park. It's not like I would have gotten away, right? Even if I tried. I mean, I guess I could have if I really wanted to get away. But in my mind, I'm thinking like, bro, this is nothing. So the police show up. They talk to me. They talk to dude. And what they didn't even, like, they talked to dude, but they talked to like management, like, all of the sheep. And that's how I look at people. That's how I looked at people then. Like, either you were predator or prey, like you were a sheep or you were a wolf. And everyone there that worked there, like, yeah, most of these people are sheep. All these people come around. It's like big thing. The police gets there, airport police. And airport police was basically like real cool. They rode up on the scene. I'm talking to him like, yes, what happened? I told him up front, like, yeah, I beat dude up. He was talking crazy. He got the business. You know what I mean? It's like man business. That's how I look at things. It was an older police officer who was about ready to retire, extremely overweight. Like, this guy couldn't catch you in the bathroom, bro. He couldn't catch you in the bathroom stall. Like, this guy, but he's a sweet dude. I ain't trying to knock him. No shit like that. He's a sweet dude. And then he had a rookie that was just on, and this is a young guy. You look at his tats and stuff like that. Pretty sure dude served in some branch. I'm thinking Marine. But I'm pretty sure the guy served or whatever, but he's learning how to be a cop. So I'm telling him what's going on. We're going back and forth. We're talking. And then the older officer asked me, like the vet, he's like, hey, is there any video? And in my mind, I told him, like, I think my response was, I hope not. I think that's what I said. I said, I hope not, but I don't think so. He said, all right, well, there was video. So the police look at the video, they see what's going on. They're like, look, man, we're gonna have to take you into custody. And it's like there's nothing we can really do about this. Like, this is just us talking, it's on their body cam, so I'm not divulging any secrets. They're like, look, man, we get it. Especially the old dude. He's like, man, I get it. The young guy was like, yeah, you talking to me like that, I'll probably knock him out. I was like, look, it is what it is, man. I know what I did. And he said, look, I looked at the video, and I think his words were, you open a can of whoop ass on old boy. I think that's what dude said, right? And I'm thinking to myself, damn, like, did I? I'm looking at my hands. There were no bruises on my hands. I'm thinking about it. But I mean, I really was angry. It got to a point, especially when you're dealing with anger issues, PTSD, stuff like that. You get to a point where you become enraged. And when that happens, you really don't see. I mean, it's we'll talk about it a little, as we get into this story, but you get to a point where, you can't see, you see red, you do something, you do what you do. And some people kind of have a hard time remembering what they did. Like, okay, what did I do? So I'm thinking, like, I don't remember beating dude like that. So, okay. So they take me in custody, man, put handcuffs on me, put me in the car and everything. And they're like, look, we got to charge you with something. So we're going to charge you with a misdemeanor, right? We're going to charge you with misdemeanor battery. So, okay. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, misdemeanor way better than felony. Cool. Like, okay, we can work with this. Misdemeanor battery. And they took me away. And it took, from the time they put handcuffs on me at that work site, from the time that I was back home with my vehicle, like I went and got my vehicle and then went home, it was 7 hours. Right. And this was during football season, like during the playoffs. So I actually sat in jail long enough to watch 2 football games and I went home. The process or whatever. And we're going to talk about next week. We're going to talk about the actual process, going through intake, what happens when you go to jail, like the mug shot and all that here in Tampa, which is similar to pretty much any mid-sized to large city across the country. We're going to talk about that because the story gets really, really involved. Like, so we're going to talk about, but it's important to realize, it's important to remember that when I initially got arrested for the misdemeanor battery, from the time that they put handcuffs on me at the airport until the time I was back home in my living room with my car, mind you, my car was still at work. It was 7 hours. Went through the whole process, intake, all that kind of stuff. And 7 hours later, I managed to get my car and I was back home in my living room, right? So that's what it is. So we're gonna skip that part because we're gonna talk more about what happens when you get locked up and the intake process and how it works when you actually go into jail. Because, so just to recap, I got arrested for misdemeanor battery, which means I put my hands on dude. I beat the dude up. That charge carries a maximum of 1 year in jail, right? 1 year in jail. Appreciate everybody in the chat. I'm not, y'all chat is in there. It's going to show up on a little scroll thing, like right here. But I'm gonna go back and put everyone on the screen and react. I see everybody in there. I see Jay in there, Viper in there, man. I see Jack Black in there. My people. I see everybody in, man. What's up? What's up? So appreciate y'all. So let's talk about why I went away for so long, right? So when you go through the process, when they let you out of jail, they'll tell you like, hey, you're gonna get an arraignment because I was in and out. I posted bond right away. So again, when we talk about the process of what goes on in jail, just know this: they want money. Like, once you get into the system, bro, it's all about money. And when I went in, like, the police told me I was going to be charged with a misdemeanor, but I didn't know what the charge was. I didn't know the numbers or whatever. I didn't know nothing. I just know that the police told me it was going to be a misdemeanor. So when I'm sitting there going through the process of intake and all that, like they, booking me in or whatever, the first thing they told me is your bond is $1,000. It's the first thing they told me. I'm like, so what am I charged with? And they're like, oh, hold on, let me find out. So they knew how much money they wanted me to pay to get out, but it took them some time to figure out what I was actually charged with. They're like, well, it's a misdemeanor. I'm like, well, what type of misdemeanor? Like, what exactly is it? It took them a little time. They pulled it up. They told me exactly what it was, but they reiterated your bond is $1,000. And they take your wallet, they take your credit cards, whatever money you have on you. I had money on me that day. So they take all your money. And again, we'll get more in depth on this next week. You never get your cash back. They take your cash and then they'll give it back to you in the form of a debit card. Again, we'll talk about this. But when I'm going through the in process, and they will hold up your cards like, hey, your bond's $1,000. You want to use this card? And I'm like, sure, I want to bond out. So I was bonded out before I was done with the process of actually being, logged into the system, right? So I'm sitting there like, all right. I spend most of the time in like the intake place, and then I wound up going into like a little cell area, like a dorm, and I was only there for maybe 40 minutes, and then I went home. Like they're like, all right. As a matter of fact, when I walked in and they actually put me in a cell, the deputy here, the corrections officers are deputies, they're county deputies. Deputies like, hey man, your money's here. You bonded out already. We're just waiting for the paperwork to clear. We're gonna let you go. And I'm like, all right, cool. And again, that only took 7 hours. It's going to be important next time we talk about this. So paid the money. They got their money. I was out of there. I Ubered to go get my car, and then I went home. And I had dinner, and I finished watching football for the day or whatever I did. It was whatever, right? So they tell you when you leave, they put on your paperwork. They tell you when you leave, like, yo, here is, this is what you've been charged with. You're going to hear from the court of clerks within, I think they told me 6 to 8 weeks. They're like, you got to give it at least 4 weeks before you even try to call them. This is what they're telling me, right? And they circle a number. And like, so you're going to have an arraignment date, but it's going to be like 8 weeks down the road. But within 4 weeks, you want to call and make sure, whatever. I'm like, okay. That call came in like 2.5 weeks. I got the call right away. And I got notices in the mail right away. They're like, oh, you have a court hearing, on this date. And I'm like, okay, cool. Didn't have to call anybody. I show up for arraignment. I'm doing a little bit of research. I talked to a couple lawyers, and I'm thinking, like, I've done my own little research, right? And this is important, guys. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you're dealing with the legal system, like the justice system, you gotta have a lawyer. Get a lawyer. I don't care what it costs, bro. Get a lawyer. If you got to sell a kidney, whatever you got to do, bro, get a lawyer. Now, of course, that was a joke, guys. Don't go selling internal body parts, right? Because you need your kidneys. But you get my point. Like, it's very important and advantageous to you as an American citizen to have a lawyer if you go into the American criminal justice system. I don't care if it's a misdemeanor, I don't care if it's a felony, I don't care what it is. Get a lawyer. So I'm shopping around for lawyers, and it looks like, oh, it's going to be like $3,000. Every lawyer I talk to, they're all like, yeah, it's going to be about $2,500 to $3,000. They pull up the case and look at everything. They ask you a couple questions like, hey, have you ever been in trouble before? Like, nope. They're like, as a kid, were you ever in trouble? Like, nope, never been in trouble. Never. Well, I've never been arrested. I've never been in the system. I've never been incarcerated. Never, ever in my life. I'm a veteran. I'm retired government. I've worked pretty much my entire life for the federal government. I've never been in trouble. Never, and that's like, I've never been caught. Because people be like, I've never done anything wrong. Like, no, we've all done stuff wrong. We've all broken the laws. You never got caught. I don't care if you're jaywalking, littering, or smacking somebody. Most of us have done something wrong. At least the people that I grew up with. So I was like, no, but I've never been in trouble. They're like, okay, cool. And they're like, so what about the victim? I'm like, I don't know the guy. This is what happened, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, is the victim, working, cooperating with the state? I'm like, I don't know. They're like, okay, so $3,000. So like, all right, well, in my mind, I'm like, well, let me go into this arraignment process and see what happens. Cause I do know a little bit about court. I've never been before a judge myself, but I know plenty of people who have. I've been in plenty of proceedings. I've read about stuff and, I watch TV, whatever. So here in Florida, when you go for an arraignment, the state will make an offer. A one-time offer that's good that day. Basically a plea for whatever it is you've done, right? Especially if you're talking about misdemeanors. They do this all the way up for felonies. The state will make an offer. So I'm sitting there, I'm watching the proceedings, right? I'm there, I'm dressed appropriately, guys. Whenever you go to court, just be respectful to the court. The judges like to see that shit, man. Don't go in there looking like you just rolled out of bed. Like, put on a collared shirt or something, a jacket, something, just show that you respect what's going on, whether you respect it or not. So I'm sitting there, I'm watching the people in front of me. Like, two people went before me. They had like misdemeanor theft. So, they were looking at, I forget how much misdemeanor theft was. One, her the amount of what she stole, I think could have gotten her a year in jail. And the other one, I think it was like 8 months or 6 months or something. I can't remember. Don't hold me to it. But the first one goes up. It's like, little old white lady been stealing from, the grocery store. The state was like, all right, we'll do, what did they do? They give the first lady, they sent her to this class they have, a no stealing class or whatever they call it. And they gave her like 6 months probation. That was the offer. She took it. She signed some paperwork. She was out of there. So next lady comes up, same thing. You know what I mean? They told her like more, it was a little more probation on the back end, but it's like, they'll go to the court. And the second lady had been in there a couple of times. So it wasn't like it was her first time. She's never been in trouble before. Like, she'd been caught before, but they just, running through the process. And I guess this process is designed to clear the dockets. Like, let's just get this little stuff out the way. So the state's going to be like, here, just do this and we're done. So I'm sitting back and I'm watching this, right? And I'm like, okay, I see what's going on. Shit, I don't need a lawyer for this. They're going to make me an offer. They're probably going to tell me to go to anger management class or something. They're going to, maybe hit me with a fine or something, do community service, something, I'm like, okay, cool. They're probably, all right. So I get up there and they read everything, misdemeanor, blah, blah, blah. And then the state's like, yeah, we want him to do 6 months in jail. That was the offer. I'm sitting there like 6 months. Now, remember, if you're ever in a situation where you're, in court or some high pressure situation, poker face, boys and girls, poker face, keep that poker face, right? You want to sit there and it's like, okay. So I kept my face normal. I learned this in the Army. It's like, if you go before a board or whatever, you want to just, don't, keep your poker face. So I kept my poker face. I'm looking. The judge, from my observation, didn't like the offer. The judge just kind of looked at the state like, what? It's a misdemeanor battery. This man's never been in trouble before. Like, what are we, am I missing something here? Like, and the judge asked the state, is there more to this? Are there more charges? Like, what's going on? And the state was saying no. we want 6 months. So the judge didn't even let me answer. The judge was like, no, we're not doing that. And it's like, hey, Mr. Saint, she didn't call me Saint. She's my government name. She was like, hey, Mr. Saint, do you have a lawyer? Like, no, Your Honor, not now, but I'll get one. I plan to get one. And she says, well, why don't you talk to the public defenders here, the public defender office? They might be able to help you. And I said, well, Your Honor, I don't think I qualify, because in order to get a public defender to help you out, I think one or two things have to be true. Like you can't make over a certain amount of money. The public defender's office are people who really can't afford it. That's what I was thinking. Or you got to already be incarcerated. Like if you're already locked up, the public defenders will definitely take your case until you can get a lawyer, and you probably have to get your family to help you on the outside because you can't do anything once you're inside. So I said, Your Honor, I don't think I qualify. She said, well, they'll let you know. Just talk to them, fill out. They're going to ask you some questions, answer the questions. And, the judge thanked me for dressing properly or whatever. And I said, okay. And I'm thinking like, all right, I think me and the judge on the same page here. I'm looking at this. Yeah, I'm like, this is a misdemeanor. Okay, right. And again, this is why I'm so adamant when I say this, guys. If you ever find yourself in court, if you got to go into a court proceeding, make sure you get a lawyer. Do not use a public defender. And if you do use a public defender, understand you're going to have to do more work than they will. All right. So we'll do another episode on using public defenders as well. So I'm talking to this public defender. They're asking me questions that, about income and this and that. And I'm telling her like, yes, how much I make. And they ask you about your bills. They ask you about your debt. They ask you about all this stuff. Right. So you put it all down there, and they tell you like, okay, we'll get back to you and let you know. Okay, fine. In my mind, I already know, like, I'm going to need $3,000. As I was walking out of the courtroom, I spoke to a lawyer that I saw in that courtroom that was talking to the judge, and the lawyer, this particular lawyer, had a relationship with the judge, a professional relationship. They knew each other, and they were talking, they were bantering back and forth, and they were like, oh, good to see you. What you been up to? And blah, blah. So I'm like, dude, I go up to him, and he said the same thing. Like, yeah, for what you get, about $3,000. It's like, cool. I get his information. I leave. A couple weeks go by, and then I get an email from the public defender's office talking about the case, and they're sending discovery and all this other kind of stuff. So I'm thinking, I guess I qualify somehow. And I'm thinking like, well, maybe it's income to debt ratios. And, I used to make a lot of money. I don't make a lot of money now, but I'm still paying down debt. And and these are my expenses. So maybe I qualify with some sort of court math that they're doing. Okay. So I'm sitting there. I get this email, and I'm like, okay. The email had a phone number and a name attached. Just lawyer, works for the public defender's office. So I'm emailing that lawyer, not getting any responses. I'm calling that lawyer. It's like leaving voicemails, trying to get a hold of a human voice. Couldn't get a hold of one. And now we're getting close because the judge gave another court date. So now we're getting close to this court date. And I finally get a call from this lawyer. And this lawyer is telling me, we think you gave us a wrong number, or something's going on with your phone. We've been trying to get a hold of you. And I had to explain to this lawyer, like, no one from your office has called me, but I have called you. And these are the days that I have called. I left messages. These are the emails that I've sent. Did you get my emails? And she was like, well, there's something wrong. We think there's something wrong. No, we think we somehow got a wrong number. And then so we're going back and forth. So finally I said, well, listen, my phone number is a Los Angeles area code. It's 818. Right? The area code here in Tampa is 813. And she gets real quiet. And she's like, oh, so yeah. Maybe we were calling the wrong number. I said, maybe so. Okay. Anyway, let's talk about this case. So she starts talking about the case. And in my mind, I'm thinking, this is a layup. Surely the public defender's office can handle a case this simple, right? Using logic. Never use logic, boys and girls, if you're dealing with the court system. It don't apply. Do not use logic. There is no such thing. You got to get a lawyer and let them do the lawyer thing, right? So yeah, I'm like, all right, we're talking back and forth. It's like, okay, you got this date coming up. And she told me the court date. I said, no, it's like, she said, your date's on the 12th. I'm like, nah, isn't it the 16th? And she's like, oh yeah, it's on the 16th. So right away, I'm thinking like, man, this person doesn't really sound that competent, but Again, this is a layup, right? Trying to use common sense. So I'm like, yo, do I have to be at this hearing? I've already went to the arraignment. Do I have to be at this hearing? And she says, I don't know. I'll get back to you. And then she begins to talk about options. She's like, look, the state is offering jail time. Obviously, you don't want that. Like, no, I don't understand what's going on here. I'm willing to do, and I gave a whole slew of remedies. I said, hey, how about I'll take extra anger management classes, because once this happened back in January, I immediately went to the VA and went and got help, because obviously there's something wrong. Like I did lose control. I want to know what's up with that. So the first thing I did is I went to the VA to get anger management classes, and I would take them. It's like the virtual thing that they do. They do an assessment. You go and you talk to a person, and they say, okay, they give you like a treatment plan. Like, okay, we can do this. Here are options. I'm like, cool. And I told the doctor that was assessing me, like, this is because of a case, and this case is ongoing. So, things might change. I might have to come back to you and ask you for more stuff. They're like, no problem. We can handle anything that the court may need. We do all that stuff. We can do that for you. I'm like, okay, thank you. That's great. So I started taking online anger management classes twice a week. 1 hour, it's like 1 hour classes twice a week. So I told the lawyer, like, this is what I'm doing. Maybe I could do some more stuff. I'm willing to do public service where I could go maybe like community service. I can kind of go out, maybe talk to kids, talk to other people, and kind of help them so they can work on their anger issues as well. She's like, oh, okay. You can hear her typing in the background. I'm assuming she's typing for my case, so who knows what she was typing. And she's like, okay, but we have this program in Florida where if you're a veteran, they have what they call Veterans Court. And it's like, in Veterans Court is a court like any other court, but it's designed for veterans, and it's for this sort of thing. And I looked that up. I heard about that. I looked that up. And from what I understand, from what I've read, Veterans Court doesn't take misdemeanors. And she's like, well, I don't know about Veterans Court, but we have someone in the office that does. And so we're going back and forth, right? So we're having this long conversation. This is over the telephone. We're talking, right? Mind you, we talked about the court date. And she's like, okay, then, so a couple weeks go by, right? Because she's telling me about Veterans Court. She's like, I'm gonna get you more information. Okay, fine. And then I asked her, okay, do I have to go to this hearing? And she's like, I'll get back to you. So it's the day before the hearing. I text her, hey, do I need to go to this hearing tomorrow? And she says, no, you don't have to go to the hearing. You don't have to go to the hearing. I said, okay. And then she starts texting about Veterans Court. Would you be interested in Veterans Court? I haven't heard back from the state. I don't think they were happy with, or going to take the proposal that I sent, whatever. And I said, well, okay, I'm open to more information. She's like, okay, well, we'll have someone contact you, or I will put you in touch with someone from the Veterans Court. And I said, okay, so I don't have to go to the hearing. I don't go to the hearing, right? This is like late March, first week of April, right? So this is like March 16th or something like that. April 2nd, I get a text message from someone that I've never heard of. This really nice lady hit me up from the Veterans Court. She works in the public defender's office, but she handles veteran courts cases. And she says, hey, my name is so-and-so. And I'm with the Veterans Court. So I'm like, okay, hi. And then, this is via text. And she says, so here's the deal. I can tell you about Veterans Court. I believe the Veterans Court will accept your case, even though it's a misdemeanor. I was like, okay. She's like, but you missed the court hearing today. I'm like, what? She's like, you missed the court hearing today. You had a hearing at 9 a.m. You weren't there. So you're going to have to contact your lawyer, and you're going to have to clear that up. And then once you clear that up, I can talk to you about Veterans Court. So this is Thursday, April 2nd, if I'm not mistaken, right? It's Thursday. Good Friday was the next day. So I said, okay. So I immediately begin to call the public defender, the lawyer. No response. I send text messages. What's going on? She gets back to me. She sends a text message. I'm no longer with the public defender's office. What? I'm no longer, basically, I'm not your lawyer. Here's the information. Here's your lawyer with the public defender's office. I said, okay. I sent another text. I'm like, look, okay, I understand you're not my lawyer. You're no longer with the public defender's office, but I'm being told that I missed a hearing. Is that true? And if so, should I be concerned? And her response was something to the effect of, I would avoid the police. You know what I mean? Something like that. Like, yeah, I would avoid the police. That was her response. And reiterated, like, just reach out to your lawyer. So I'm calling the other lawyer. I'm sending emails. I'm doing all that again. I'm getting no responses. Like, okay, this is Thursday the 2nd. Good day. Good Friday was the next day, holiday. Saturday, Sunday, I didn't do anything, just kind of sitting in the house, chilling, not going anywhere, didn't drive anywhere, because I know she didn't have to tell me, and neither did the other, the lady from the Veterans Court, Ms. Brooks. Shout out to you, sis. She's solid sister. She really helped me out, because without her, I would have had no idea that this was all going on, that I missed a hearing and all this. That's bench warrant being issued for me, right? So back in the day when I was doing my thing in Cincinnati, a bench warrant wasn't something that the police will come and look for you for. Like, if they pull up behind you, they run your plates, or they see on the street, they ask for your ID, they run your license, your ID, and it comes back, you have a bench warrant, they'll take you into custody. That's how it was back in the 80s. Even now, today, it's a little different. The cop will look at what the warrant is issued for, and they may or may not take you into custody. They might just give you a summons to appear. They might even put you in cuffs. They're like, oh, you got to summons to appear, be in court on this day. You're good. Or they might, put handcuffs on you, put you in the back seat. So that was back in the 80s and 90s. So in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, bench warrant, not good, but not horrible, right? It's like, all right, bench warrant, not horrible. So I'll just chill and get a hold of this new lawyer and figure out what the game plan is. So, like I said, Friday goes by, Saturday goes by, Sunday goes by. Monday around 2:30, I get a knock at the door. Guess who it is? Man, it is the police, bro. It is the Hillsborough County Sheriff. 2 of them standing outside my door. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, I was thinking that this is a possibility, but kind of shocked that they actually sent somebody out to the crib, right? 2 deputies. And they basically was like, look, we got to take you. Like, I'm sorry, you're on our list. Our job is to go around and pick up people with bench warrants. We got to take you. Okay. Like, I have a child I'm on my way to pick my kid up from school. Can I pick my kid up from school, come back, and then y'all take me? Like, nah, we can't let you go right now. So I had already talked to my daughter about what was going on. I always try to cover all bases. We had a contingency plan. Thank God my daughter listened to me. We're good to go. We just executed the plan. The sheriff was real cool. They were like, let me text my daughter. Like, yo, matter of fact, I'm handcuffed. They were texting my daughter with my phone. I'm telling her what to say, and she's typing it in there. I'm like, all right, we're good to go. My daughter has, we have a plan. We're good to go. So they take me. So I go back to the jail that I was in January you got to get re-processed and all that kind of stuff. Remember, I told you the first time I went, from the time they put handcuffs on me to the time I was back in my living room was 7 hours, right? So I'm talking to the sheriff, like, what's going on? Like, blah, blah, blah. This is what happened. And she was like, well, I don't know what's going to happen, but they're probably just going to give you a summons or something. She didn't know. No one knows in this system. This is why you got to get a lawyer. Like this, there's no rhyme or reason sometimes as to what's going on in these, within the court system. So I'm talking to her, like, we had a really good conversation all the way to the jail or whatever. I go in there. Right now I'm thinking, okay, last time I was here, I went through the process. I got, put into the little holding cell after a while, and I went home, and it was all done in a matter of hours. This time it was 17 hours, right? I was sitting there for 17 hours, and they were not letting me go. Remember last time I said, when you go through the process, they tell you right away, like, what your bond is. I'm already out on bond. So I come in and they're like, you have no bond. I'm like, okay. And they brought me in for failure to appear. So I'm not locked up with the key thrown away indefinitely because I punched somebody. I'm locked up because I missed a hearing. The judge was really upset because this public defender apparently was telling a lot of people they didn't have to come to these hearings. These people weren't showing up. And then this public defender is gone. I don't know if she quit. I don't know if she got fired, but she's gone. And the judge is really pissed that people aren't coming to their hearings. So she just bench warrant, failure to appear. So it wasn't just me. It was a bunch of people locked up for this. No bond. You got to sit there. And when the judge writes here, I don't know if it's everywhere, but here in this state, when a judge writes, this county, when a judge writes a bench warrant for you, you got to go before that judge. You can't go to a different judge. You got to go before that judge. It's not like you're going to get arraigned on a second charge or this and that. They're just going to hold you until you can get before this judge. So I'm finding all this out on the fly, right? It's like, I don't know what the hell going on. Like, I'm finding all this out on the fly, right? So I'm like, all right, I'm sitting in here. Again, we're going to talk about this experience, the 17 hours plus in fact, we're going to do this next week. I'm going to tell you guys everything as far as what it was like when I got in there. And, you know, like, bro, it's going to blow y'all mind. It blew mine. I wasn't ready for it. I've been through a lot of stuff in the military. I had some really tough missions. This was the toughest thing I've ever had to endure. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, I can't believe America is doing this to Americans. It's a horrific situation. We're going to talk about that next week. But I wound up spending 32 days in jail waiting to talk to this judge about why I failed to appear at a hearing for a misdemeanor, right? We're talking about a misdemeanor, guys. We're talking about a misdemeanor. I'm sitting in there with like real felons. I'm sitting in there like I'm elbow to elbow with dudes that, you know, and did some real stuff. And I'm in there with bums. I mean, and when we talk about what goes on in jail, bro, I'm telling you, it's y'all gonna be sickened by what I tell you, what I share. It was, like I said, bro, if I didn't have PTSD prior to this experience, I certainly had the PTSD big time after the experience, right? So 32 days it took me to get before the judge. I got before the judge. Finally, she was still upset not having it. I'm thinking I'm going to get time served. Me and the lawyer, the new public defender, who shout out to him, this young kid did everything he could. You know, public defenders are overworked. They're under budget. Like they're underfunded, I should say. And they're green. Like they're right out of law school. So they don't have any experience. And this is the misdemeanor course. So this is how they cut their teeth. This is how they learn. This young kid was doing his best, man. Shout out to him. He really, I got a lot of respect for that young guy. He was really trying to do his best to help me out. He just isn't experienced yet. Give him 5 years and he'll probably be saving a lot of people a lot of heartache. But right now, he just don't know. So, but he was telling me, he was like, look, he kept coming to see me in jail, which whenever someone comes to see you in jail and you do an in-person, meeting with these people, like you go into a room with your lawyer, they can't record you in the room with the lawyer by yourself. When you go back to your dorm, you have to get strip searched. So I kept trying to tell him, like, man, stop coming to see me, bro. Just let's do a FaceTime or something, man. I don't want to get strip searched. This is how bad this, again, misdemeanor, bro. I'm in there for a misdemeanor. Like, who am I going to shank right in jail? And I wound up, like I said, here in Tampa, they have a dorm, a pod, strictly veterans only, right? And it's the only one of its kind in the country. They should have more of these, where veterans get housed together. So if you're a veteran, you can apply to go into the veterans pod, and then if they approve it, you're doing your time with other vets. It's called the Veterans Resurgence Program. We're going to do an episode on that as well down the road. There's so much in this world, y'all. y'all find out. It's crazy. The Knicks won. I was in there, like the guy who runs the Veterans Resurgence Program, like the in-house counselor, big Knicks fan. So the whole time in there, he was, they going back and forth. I didn't give a shit about sports, man. I'm locked up. I didn't care about nothing in there. We'll talk about that down the road. But every time you go and it's like, okay, I got to get strip searched. Like, if you think I'm going to shank one of the vets in this pod, like, what are we doing here? But it's just a procedure, right? It's horrible. It's a horrible procedure. It's terrible. So this public defender, he's like, look, man. He says, I need to tell you this. I think what's going to happen. He's like, the state wants to give you 6 months for this. They're trying to take this thing to trial. We don't want to go to trial. He's like, you're right. I don't want to go to trial over this. This is ridiculous. They think because they have a video that this video is very damning and this is going to be able to get you locked up for a year. And basically what he means by that, if you take your case to trial, which every American has the right to do, and you lose the trial, you're going to wind up facing what's called a trial tax, right? So generally what happens is the judge will impose the max sentence or close to the max sentence just because you took it to trial. So I'll probably would have been looking at a year if I decided to take it to trial. And this guy's talking about this video. And I'm looking at him like, he's like, the public defender's like, have you seen the video? I'm like, no, you guys sent me something, but I couldn't open the file. Can you just send it to me? Can you email it to me? Like, oh, we can't email it to you. They want to keep it in-house. They basically don't want me to get my hands on it so I can give it to World Star or something like that, make money off of it, I guess. Or embarrass somebody. I don't know. They don't want to give it to me. So Bill's like, here, let me show you. So he pulls it up on his computer, and I'm looking at it. And I look at it, it's about a minute long, right? And of that minute, maybe 40 seconds of me, swinging on the dude, hitting him a couple times, and it's over, right? And when I say swinging on the dude, like bro, I tried to hit the dude in the head a couple times. I missed. It was so horrible. me beating up this guy. I'm like, bro, you can tell I ain't fought in a long time. Like it was bad. And this guy was it was not like the guy was like ducking and weaving. He was trying to run away. And I'm swinging and missing, right? But I did catch him a couple times in the chest. And so he's laying on the ground. He fell. He went to the ground on his own. It's not like I picked him up and slammed him or anything like that. He went to the ground on his own. He's screaming for help. I'm looking at the video, and I looked at the lawyer and I say, "Is there more?" He's like, "No, that's the video." I'm like, "This is the video that the state prosecutor is talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, this is the video that they want me to go to trial over." He said, "Yes." I was like, "All right, man." So I was like, "Look, I don't want to go to trial and drag this cowardly dude through the mud. I mean, you got a right to be a coward in America." This, in my opinion, after this experience, America is just a place for cowards, bro. It is what it is. The sheep run everything. It's fine. It's fine. I'm like, look, I did it. I'm an old school guy. Don't do the crime if you can't. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. I ain't sitting here trying to get out of it. I don't want to waste the state's money and my time trying to go through a case, actually a trial for this. No, I don't want to do that. He says, well, look, the state wants to give you 6 months. He's like, the judge will absolutely not do that. Like, the judge will probably split the difference. The state wants 6 months. You want time served. Like, you really shouldn't have been in here to begin with. I'm like, yeah, I'm not in here for beating dude up. I'm in here for failure to appear. And the reason I failed to appear was your office. He's like, yeah, that lawyer did kind of mess you up here. He didn't try to fight me on that at all. He's like, yeah, you got screwed on that. And I'm like, I got text messages, bro, that can show that there was confusion here. Like, all we got to do is get my phone. When we get my phone out of property, man, I can give you the text message. You can show the judge. And he was just kind of sitting there like, nah, man, you got screwed. We know what's going on. He knew her name. You know what I mean? He knew her name. He said her name. Right? I'll say her first name, but I won't say her last name. Her name is Rachel. Right? She's no longer a public defender, but matter of fact, I'll say her whole name. Her name is Rachel Payne. And if she's a lawyer, do not use her. Right? If you are hiring Rachel Payne to represent you, you might have a fucking problem, because this woman is completely unethical and unprofessional. Right? Simple as that. And she's like, yeah, we talked to her and she said that she never told you to not come to that hearing on that date. I'm like, I know she didn't. We were talking about a different date, but she never mentioned that hearing. Like, you would think that she would say, all right, well, we got all this talk about, I'll see you on April 2nd because we got a court hearing. Like, oh, word? Okay, I'll be there. None of that, right? So yeah, that happened. So he says, look, worst case scenario, the judge will split the difference. You'll get 3 months. You're already in here. And he was like, best case scenario, you get time served, you'll go home. It's probably, and actually he's like, time served, you go home and it's over. He wasn't even thinking probation. He wasn't even thinking anger management classes, nothing. He was like, bro, you in here. You've been in here. At the time, I'd been in like 27 days. So I was like, all right. So we wait for the hearing, and I'm like, all right, cool. So it's finally time for the hearing. Now, again, I'll tell you guys the process when you in jail, how they transport prisoners and shit like that. It's horrific. I get to jail. I get to the court, and it's just like you see on TV, man. They got you all shackled up and everything. You're wearing the orange or whatnot. And I had a mask on because people don't wash their hands, and so many people are sick, in jail. I'm like, bro, I ain't trying to get sick. So we get there, and then, the public defender walks up to him, and he's like, yo, I think you're going to like the outcome today. Right? Mr. Saint, I think you're going to like it. Of course, he used my government name. Like, Mr. Saint, I think you're going to like it. And I'm like, cool, man, whatever. I hope you're right. In my mind, I'm thinking, I don't think this is going to go the way I hope it's going to go. Like I'm thinking, like this is. I think this is gonna go bad. Sitting there, they take care of a whole bunch of the business. They finally get to me, and long story boring. The judge basically said 3 months. Judge was like, I'll offer you 3 months because this is a procedure where the judge can make a plea. The state plea is already out there. The state wants 6 months. They're trying to get you a year. The judge can intervene and make their own plea, and it's good for 1 day. You can accept it or not accept it, right? So the judge said 3 months. My lawyer, public defender, was shocked. He couldn't believe it. It's like, damn, this ain't cool. And he comes over to talk to me. He was like, so obviously you're not going to take this. I'm like, no, I'm taking this, bro. I'm taking this. I'm not going to trial over this. And here's the thing. I need this judge to give me a bond so I can get out. I've been in there 32 days with no bond. There was no guarantee the judge was going to do it. She didn't mention it. The bond that was revoked, the original $1,000, they kept that. So the public defender was like, well, maybe we can get the judge to set a bond. Maybe it'll be 1,000. Maybe it'll be a couple thousand. I'm like, what? Okay, y'all just trying to get money. I said, nah, man. Nah, I've already been in here for 32 days. The judge just offered 90 days, right? 3 months. I've already been in here for a month. Now I've learned in my month in jail, like how the process goes. I'm talking to guys because in the vet pod and in jail, you got dudes who've like been lifers in prison. They got out and they got, violated and had to go back in. I'm talking to dudes that know the system. And they're like, nah, man, like, if you take 30 days, like your worst case scenario, you take 30 days, they're going to take a percentage of that off right away. You're going to get like 20% drops. And then you're going to get like, you're in a program here. Like, so you get time off for being in this program. Every 6 days, you get a day off your sentence. So one of the old dudes, shout out to Red, you know what I mean? And shout out to all the dudes who was in the vet pod, man. Shout out to all of them because everybody was really helping and sharing and trying to help people get through through their issues. My man Red, who had been in there forever, been in there years, he's waiting on something. He's fighting something, right? He's like, look, bro, the worst you're going to do is they'll give you 3 months. You've already been in here a month. You're going to take time off, basically time served right off the top. And then you get days off while you're in here. Like you're probably going to wind up doing another 30 days. And it turned out to be 33 days exactly. So when I heard the judge make that offer, I told the public defender, like, yeah, I'm taking that. And he was like, are you sure? I'm like, I'm 100% sure. I'm taking that, bro. I'm not playing anymore. Like the prosecution is taking advantage of you. The state believes that they can take advantage of you, drag me into a trial and stretch me out for a year. Like, I don't want to do that. Right. And then the other option, trying to get a bond. I'm going to try to get a bond, pay another $1,000, maybe $2,000 and get out and still have to wait to go into the veterans program because this thing, like, we'll get out and we'll just transfer you over to the veterans program. Like, all right. Or you can just do this time, take the offer that the judge just gave you. And I took that offer. And a lot of people were like, well, you shouldn't have taken the offer. You should have said, hey, I want to transfer over to the veterans court. Fine. Okay. You could do that. But here in this county in Florida, in Hillsborough County, it's not immediate. So you're already incarcerated. There was a really good chance that the judge would say, fine, you want to go to veterans court? Fine. I'm not going to allow you a bond. We're going to leave you in there pending this veterans court things, pending them accepting you in veterans court. And then the new judge can issue you a bond if they want. So it could take up to 5 months, right? It could take up to 5 months to get, your case moved over to the veteran court case or to their docket. It could take up to 5 months. That would have been me sitting there for 5 months. And that time is just time gone. You don't get to use it for anything. It's not like you don't get time served on anything. The deal that I'm being offered, I get credit for 32 days that I've already been incarcerated and on a 90-day sentence. I was like, yeah, I'm going to take that. And I wound up doing another 33 days. And then I came home. Case is over. But then I had to deal with probation. So I have another 9.5, 10 months of probation, which basically I got to stay out of trouble. And I have to do a different form of anger management. I'm working with the VA on that. We are currently trying to figure out exactly what the judge wanted. Even the probation office was like, we're not even know what she's asking for. Like, this is quite unusual. They had to actually listen to the court hearing because they record that. And you can listen to what the judge actually said, even though you're reading it. They listen and they're like, all right. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. So they give you your marching orders. They give you a document. Say, take this to the VA. This is what we need from the VA. I had to sell all my weapons, guys. That's why you don't see any weapons anymore in the background. I had to sell all my weapons. I did that already. Like, okay, got rid of all my weapons, get rid of all my ammunition. It's part of what the judge ordered. So all you people out there talking about don't go to California, they'll take your guns. Nah, the red states will take your guns, bro. So, which is fine, because when this happened back in January, first thing I did was went to go get help from the VA. I wanted to find out what's going on in my head. Second thing I did was stop carrying my weapons. I put all my weapons in the safe and put them away. I just stopped carrying my weapons. I'm like, I need to figure out what's going on with me before I go outside with firearms. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know what's wrong with me. And something is wrong with me. I got PTSD. Right. So, and the VA is really helping me out with that. Maybe we'll talk about PTSD one day, man. I'll get some professionals on to talk about it, man. Folks who deal with PTSD, man, they're dealing with a lot. And yeah, I got mine from the military and from my service, but there are people who never served a day. They deal with PTSD because of stuff that they dealt with as kids or whatever, things that happened to them. Bro, PTSD is real. Just here to tell you. And knowing that you have PTSD and working with people who can give you tools to manage your PTSD is really good. It's already helped me, to be honest with you. I'm in situations now where I'm like, yep, I need to go. I'll be somewhere and something's going on. Yep, I need to go. Or if I'm on someone's platform, like last night I was on the platform and you have the keyboard warriors come up on the platform and talk all this craziness. They talking shit. It used to bother me. I used to be thinking like, man, where do they live? Who knows where this person live? I'm gonna go see this person. I'm gonna see if they had that same energy when I come, I'm in front of them. Now I just let it go because it has nothing to do with me. Angry people are dealing with other stuff that's 100% them, and they just want to lash out because they don't know what else to do. When you get these tools on how to deal with your PTSD, bro, it really, really helps. It really, really helps, man. So it's man, that whole process of me, I went back to the pod, went back to the vet pod. I took the deal. Went back to the vet pod. A lot of people who are locked up, and including the deputies who work there. A lot of them were like, "Man, I'm really surprised that you have to go through this." And it's like, yeah, like really for like a fight. Like I'm not here for the fight. I'm here because I missed the hearing. Right. The reason I did 65 days in jail is because I missed the hearing. That's why they picked me up. If I never missed a hearing, I would still be going through the process, probably waiting to get accepted by Veterans Court and then going through whatever Veterans Court has for people, which I would have gladly done. But that wasn't in the cards for me. Like I think it was something I needed to see. And a lot did happen. We'll talk about this next week when I talk about the experience of actually being incarcerated, being in jail. Bro, it changes you, man. Fundamentally changes you. But one of the things that I thought about while I was in there was the judge. I have no ill will towards the judge. I think the judge, I got to sit there and watch her work. I was sitting there, watching her work when I was in there for the arraignment, and then sitting there watching the judge work, while I was sitting there waiting for her to offer me a deal. This judge wasn't mean. Excuse me. This judge wasn't mean. This judge, I don't think, was trying to make any political statements. I think the judge was trying to do the best job she could. I really do. I don't hold any, ill will towards her. I definitely got a problem with Rachel Payne, and I hope she sees this. I definitely got a problem with her. I lost 65 days of my freedom because she's incompetent, right? And again, it's still on me because they did send notices in the mail, but I'm thinking, hey, I'm talking to the person. It's just a level of professionalism I was expecting. You can't expect from the public defender's office, and that's anywhere. Are there good public defenders out there? I'm sure there are, but they're all overworked and they're underfunded, and they don't have a lot of support. So don't use them. If you have the money, go find the money. Do what you got to do to get you a lawyer. Don't use public defenders. I don't care if it's a misdemeanor. I don't care. But the judge, I don't have a problem with the judge. The judge was giving out good deals. The thing with judges, it's a day-to-day, hour-to-hour, minute-to-minute thing because we're human. If you're sitting on a bench and you're in a good mood, you might be a little more generous. You may show a little more mercy and compassion when dealing with certain cases, right? But if you're in a bad mood, it might go the other way. right? So going before a judge is more about what's on in their life and how they feel than it is a matter of law. So, and that's why I wanted to have this conversation today, y'all. Like, we're gonna talk about what's going on with should we have AI in there? Um, Jay, what's good? What's happening? What's happening? I just want to I just want to throw that in there. What the my bad. There we go. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to brother Jay, man. What's good? Viper in the building, man. Good to see you, man. I'm glad I'm back. Jack Black, man. That's when I hit this brother up as soon as I got home, and we had a long conversation. It was like, what's wrong with you, bro? You just Florida, man. What you think? You're a public defender? Are you crazy? He broke it down for me, man. Appreciate you, man. Don DeMarco to you. He broke it all the way down.
Don DeMarco.
Yeah, man. I mean, it is what it is. BJ, what's up, man? Good. Hey, it's been a minute. I know, man. I'm up in here, bro. I just got out. I'm out here in Tampa doing my thing, but it's good to see you. Bob, what's happening? Good to see you, man. Like, I wouldn't mess with you, man. Like, look, bro. PTSD is real, man. And society has just changed so much, guys. If you're in a situation where, someone starts talking crazy, it turns into a shouting match, and then people are getting in your face, put your hands in your pocket and walk away. Hell, run away. Run away. Because they're going to lock you up for kicking somebody's ass, bro. I mean, that's just the bottom line. That's what they're going to do. They're going to lock you up unless it's a clear-cut case of self-defense. And how are you going to prove that unless you have video? There's video out there. There's video everywhere. Every time you go outside, trust me, you're on somebody's camera. I don't care if it's someone's Ring camera. You're in the background of someone who's shooting alive as they're walking around FaceTiming. You got cameras on poles. Like it's cameras outside of buildings. There's cameras in the car. There are cameras everywhere, bro. Right? Cameras are good for seeing what happened, but they don't have any audio, man. So in my situation, you don't get to hear what dude said. You didn't get to hear his attitude. You didn't get to hear the condescending demeanor. You didn't get to see the way he was looking and all that kind of. You didn't see none of that shit. All you saw was me hitting him, trying to hit him and missing and then punching him a couple times and he fell down. That's all you get to see. Right? And I'm here to tell you, man, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. There are too many cameras out there, guys. Right? And what's good? There are too many cameras out there. Yeah, sis MFN months. Yeah, man. Poke face be damn, bro. It is what it is, man. 6 months. Definitely, they wanted 6 months. They wanted the year. Here's the thing: that prosecutor, it turns out the prosecutor was a young prosecutor who was basically trying to run up the numbers. He knows he has a public defender's office is in shambles, and he figures, you know what, I can just run up the numbers, man. I can get all these convictions, man, and just pad my stats. That's what this young kid was trying to do. Right. And again, like, I didn't talk to the state, and that's a tough job to have. But just like judging a book by the cover, the state prosecutor looked like a little punk. He looked like a coward. Right. Is the kind of that awkward, like, trying to be cool with the people in court. You can tell the people in court interacted with him because they had to. Right. He's the kind of guy that, people look at him and then he walks away and they just be shaking their head like, man, fuck, dude. He was one of those kind of cats. Your basic run-of-the-mill red pill dude. Right? I mean, that's what he reminded me of. Because there's a lot of people in the red pill community just like dude. And this is a guy who, again, no ill feelings towards him, but it's like, dude, you playing with my life. You trying to put me away for a year so you can make your resume look better? Oh, nah, man. Like, all you did, son, is make an enemy. And not an enemy that's going to go look for you, but a guy I'm certainly not going to vote for you. And I'll do everything I can that when the day comes and you want to go run for some office, I'll do everything I can to get in your way, and I will drum up so many votes against you. I will block the money that you need to run your campaigns. I will do that. Why? Because that's how the game is played. For the same reason you tried to give me a year in jail for punching somebody in the chest 2 times. You just dead on thinking, that this is going to do something. You took advantage of a public defender's office. They're not up to speed yet. But, when these young public defenders get up to speed, this prosecutor is going to start losing, and he knows it. So anyway, that's it. I don't know his name, and it is what it is. So Cody's Kings in the building. What's good, fam? You know what I mean? So yeah, man. And the vet pod was off the chain, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was off the chain. So we took a whole hour. That's what happened to me. That's why I was gone for 65 days, guys. I got locked up for beating some dude up. You know what I mean? I did it. I took the plea. I did my time and I'm doing my probation. And I've learned a lot. And you know, especially moving forward, bro, I really know how to handle the PTSD, like when the anger comes and you know, all the other stuff that we talk about. I know how to do it, and I know how the system works. Hey guys, you do not want to wind up in this in the system, man. You don't want to get locked up, bro. You don't want to get locked up. I'm just telling you right now. Do everything in your abilities to stay away from it. It ain't cool. So I talked about the prosecution, talked about my defense, the public defender, talked about the judge a little bit. And again, I got nothing against the judge. The judge did what she thought was in the best interest of justice. I mean, because she could have said, you know, she said 3 months. She could have said 5 months. You know, it would have been less than six, right? She could have just said. I mean, I guess she had to offer something. It could have been a more restrictive probation, I guess. I mean, it could have. She could have given me 2 years of probation as opposed to just one. So it's a whole bunch of things that the judge could have done that she didn't do. So I'm not mad at how that went down. Not at all. You know what I'm saying? I was there because of what I did. It's not like someone else did it and I was just, you know, being loyal or whatever. Like I actually did it. Now it's on tape. You can see it. So, and yeah, yes. And for those who are wondering, am I going to get my hands on the tape? I'm going to try. Like, I'm going to try. So, so Jay wants to know the difference between the vet pod and other pods other than the vet pod, like will be general population. So again, we're going to talk about this next week. We're going to talk about like what it's like to be in jail. But the difference between the vet pod and general population is the vet pod is set up in such a way that these veterans are given the benefit of the doubt, sort of. Like you're vets, you know how to conduct yourselves. You guys are men and women who have gone off and defended this country. We know that you can do what needs to be done, right? And the sheriff here is a vet, and he's really proud of this vet pod. And this is their way of giving back here in Hillsborough County and honoring and helping veterans who get themselves in trouble. So the vet pod is different than general population because general population is where you got all the crash out kings. People have no discipline. Like they're just all over the place, right? It's just a mess. The veterans pod, all the guys in there, like if you walk into the veterans pod right now, first thing you're gonna notice is this shiny floor. The floor is immaculate, like it's shiny, buffed out, every real nice. There's like paintings on the wall that was done by men who were in there serving sentences in there. The vet pod is more of a therapeutic place. Every bunk is made. As soon as you get up in the vet pod, you make your bunk. It's just kind of like being in the military. It's kind of like similar to a basic training without all the yelling and shit like that from the drill sergeants or whatever. Like these are just you get classes in the vet pod. So every day, when you get up, you know, you make your bunk or whatever. Guys are more disciplined than general population. Guys try to be quiet. Guys try to do different things, not to aggravate other vets who are in there. Because you know, guys have problems with PTSD. They give you these slides. They're like hard plastic. They make this noise as you walk across the floor. It drives you crazy. Vets will try to pick their feet up, or they'll take the slides off when they're walking across the floor because guys are in there suffering from like severe PTSD and other combat related injuries. We got guys in there that have like traumatic brain injuries. So you got guys in there dealing with addiction, all kinds of addiction. So they're detoxing and they're, like the alcohol is coming out of the system, the drugs coming out of the system. So the vet pod is very therapeutic and it's very good. Like you learn things in there. Like they help you get jobs for those guys who need employment. They help people find homes. There's a lot of homeless vets here in Florida. They get them, get them squared away with programs that are going to help them get, like a transitional place, like an apartment or a hotel somewhere, and then help them get into a more stable living situation after a while. They put you in touch with those people. You learn stuff about finance. You learn things about social skills and how to interview and stuff like that. They talk about making the transition from a military mindset to a civilian mindset. They give college level courses in there, right? So I mean, it is what it is, man. Say shout out to Brother Martin who runs that. I'm gonna definitely have him on this platform to talk about the benefits of this vet platform, the vet pod. And this is something that like, if you're watching this anywhere in America, um, whether you're a vet or not, this is something you want. I mean, these veterans have earned it. And this is one way to reduce recidivism. I'm sorry, recidivism. Like you want to keep these guys from coming back because it's a vicious cycle. Like especially with the guys who are dealing with addiction, the guys who are dealing with alcoholism. Like these dudes, they get out and then they come right back in, and they get out and they come right back in. I was in there watching people, like come in and they like waving at everybody, like, "What's up, bro?" And they know all these folks, and you get to talking to them. They're like, "Yeah, man, I was here." In and out for the past, 2-3 years and, this and that. And I think it's really sad. So you just, most of the guys go through that program just once they graduate, they get out and they're able to get on their feet. But some guys, they keep coming back, man. It is what it is. But the vet pod is way better than general population. I mean, it's still jail. At the end of the day, it's still jail, man. So people are like, oh man, that sounds like you go there. I'm like, bro, it's jail. And respect is the difference. And it's, you just get an opportunity. There's some vets who mess it up. There are vets who go in there and they crash out and then they get kicked out of the vet pod. Some of them, they do things that are so bad, they get kicked out of the program. They get blacklisted. They can never go into the vet pod again, no matter what. Sometimes it's ordered by judges. Sometimes it's ordered by the sheriff's office, right? You just can't, they just screw it up, right? It's a lot of people that got no problems, man. So, that's one of the things is like, bro, these guys get so angry, but they know like, hey man, if you screw this up, you'll never come back in here again. You're gonna have to stay in general population. And that's enough to keep them to calm down. Like, hey man, you don't want to get kicked out of here, bro. So just calm down. So so there you go. There you go. That's the difference between the vet pod and general population. So back to the judges, man. Like back to the judges. I think that, and you guys let me know what you think. Should we implement artificial intelligence AI judges and do away with human judges? Or, should we do a variant where human judges have access to AI, or should we just not mess with AI at all? Let me know in the chat what y'all thinking, man. Like, because going through that, like I said before, when you go before a judge, most of the time, it's not about the law. It's about them. It's about that judge sitting on that bench in that courtroom on that day. How do they feel? What's going on in their life, right? Did their wife give them some, give them some dome, give them some head prior to coming to work and they feeling good because they bust one? Or are they going through a divorce? Or are they dealing with a spouse who's cheating, right? These are the questions. Right. These are the questions that I ask about our current judicial system. And I've seen it now in criminal court. I've been in family law court. Like when you're dealing with family court, it all depends on the judge. If you have a judge who's up there and they just hate men, or they hate women, or they hate white people, or they hate Asian people, bro, it's going to reflect in their judgment. So would it be better to remove that and replace it with artificial intelligence? That's the question. I wonder what y'all think. Cody's like, yeah, man, not ideal. Look at Cody. What was my boyfriend's name, man? Come on, bro. We ain't on that. We ain't on that at all. Matter of fact, it was 65 days of no flap. You feel me? That was man, again, next week we're gonna talk about the conditions in the jail, the food, bro. Just so y'all know, I'll give you a preview. I was gone for 65 days. I lost 25 pounds. I did not eat the slop that they called food in there. Do the services stick together in the vet pod? All the vets stick together because we're vets. But yeah, I mean, you're always gonna have like Army guys talking shit to Marines, Marines talking shit to the Navy, Air Force talking shit. What I mean? We have a Coast Guard guy in there, but we all, you got that inter-service rivalry and we talk a little shit. But the one thing is everyone's a vet. Everyone's a vet. There was no one in there from Space Force. I guess they haven't been out here long enough. You know what I mean? Cody is saying AI is not ideal. This is Shaw's in the building. What's good, fam? Good to see you.
Dom DeMarco.
Hey, man, yo, real talk, bro. You guys need to check out This Is Shaw. Y'all really need to check him out, man, because his platform, like I said, from day one, is one of the platforms that's just up and coming. And man, I love what he's doing over there. If you got any questions about family law and all that kind of stuff, you definitely want to talk about that. Lately, he's been talking a lot about the old school dowry system. Like when women got married, their family would have to give them a dowry or give a dowry to the husband or whatever. And very, very fascinating, very interesting topics over there, man. So one more Don DeMarco's for you, brother.
Dom DeMarco.
And bro, I'm waiting for your episode with Rich Cooper, man. I can't wait to see that. Shout out to you, man. Like, that's some good shit. It's like, good to see you, DL. Just showing some support for the channel. I'm an hour and 11 minutes behind, but I will catch up. It's all good, man. I was just talking about what happened to me, bro. And in a nutshell, I got arrested, man. I beat somebody up and I got arrested for it. I didn't get arrested for beating the guy up. I got arrested for missing a court hearing. But yeah, that you go back and listen to it. Let me know what you think. Oh shit, French is in the building, bro. Listen, man. You talk about people who know you from. Talk about people who know you from the sandbox, man. I mean, shit. I met Frances, man. I met you when I graduated Burton. Graduated Burton and we went to Crest Hills, man. So you know we should teach our youth better, correct our culture. Don't have to worry about what type of judge it is if you don't get into the system. Hey, man, I agree with you. And in the perfect world, that makes sense. But, bro, I'm here to tell you, there are people who get arrested that truly didn't do whatever they were accused of. Not to say that they haven't done crimes in the past. So we can do that. You can just be walking down the street and you turn the corner like we did growing up. You know what I mean? You know how life was like in Avondale. You know what life was like in Cincinnati. You could turn the corner. And just because you know somebody, you should cancel somebody, the police might arrest you. And then say that you were part of some whatever. And you can find yourself in the system. So the first thing is we got to teach our kids, man, nothing against law enforcement, man. We need law enforcement, but don't talk to the cops without your lawyer present. Just, you ain't got to be mean. You ain't got to be talking all crazy. Like, look, officer, I really want to help you. And I'm going to answer your questions. I'm just waiting for my attorney to get here. Once my lawyer get here, we can sit down and you can ask me whatever you want. That's what we should be teaching our kids. Do not, look, the police are not here to serve, protect, and serve. They're not, no. The police are here to get arrests. The police are here to make the people up the chain, like their supervisor and the chief and all them. They're there to give them good stats so that the chief can go and give good reports to the politicians, and the politicians can then turn around and say, look, we're locking all these people up. And we're tough on crime, and they can go over to their 1% friend who bought the jail and say, look, I'm keeping your jail full, right? Because it's a lot of money in incarcerating Americans, and get that kickback money so they can continue to keep their seat. That's what's going on. And that's what we need to teach our kids, man. I mean, that's what we really need to teach our kids. You know what I mean? Like, hey, Cody, man, ain't nobody keeping no secrets, bro. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, you got something you want to share, man? I'm just saying, bro. I will share this in the vet pod, and I don't know about the other pods, and maybe this is true, I don't know, but in the vet pod, you take a shower by yourself, right? The showers are open pretty much all day. The showers are only closed a couple hours during the day. You take a shower by yourself. You go, and then when you finish, I come in here and take a shower by myself. And then when I finish, next guy comes in and take a shower by himself. So ain't no dropping the soap. Although I heard some stories. Jay wants to know, can we use AI for ATC? No, because it requires judgment for every situation. Different, same thing with the system. I hear you. We can use AI for ATC. It's just that AI will cost so much money, they can't afford to implement it now. But I don't think we're too many generations away from having AI working ATC. Because think about it. If you have a very structured like center, like en route, AI can pretty much run that right now. AI can run the en route situation. The only problems they would have with today's AI, in my opinion, is vectors around storm and dealing with giving altitudes to planes that are trying to avoid turbulence. I think that would be tough for AI, although AI could figure it out. And of course, emergencies like dealing with aircraft, just all of a sudden, they're on a 90 drive, like on the 090 heading, and they're at 20,000 feet, and all of a sudden they just start descending. Like AI probably wouldn't know what to do with that. But I do believe that you can get an AI that can handle all that. It's just that AI would be so expensive that the government just can't afford it. But your point is well taken. A lot of people say that having an AI judge removes the human compassion, and it does. I think it will remove it to an extent, but it could also remove systemic racism. It could remove systemic sexism. It could remove personal feelings towards individuals. Like, I mean, it could do all those things. But again, I'm kind of on the fence. I don't know the answer, but I'm just curious to hear what y'all have to say. And that was a good one, Jay. Appreciate that, man. That was a good one. Cody and saying I gotta have human judges to relate, but they need to be screened consistently for power tripping and corruption or bias. Man, that is a really good point, because there's a lot of power tripping. Judges in America have they are extremely powerful, and they have a lot of control over you if you before that judge. Judges can do anything. There's a guy right now locked up for a crime that doesn't exist. Like, they put him away for something that there's no law for. And then he goes through the process, goes to the appellate courts and all that. And the appellate courts, they said, no, you need to be released right now. He gets released, and then the judge puts him back in. And the judge said, I know what I'm doing is wrong. Basically, I'm paraphrasing, but he was like, I know I don't have legal ground to hold you, but I'm going to hold you anyway. And it's funny because a lot of people right now are probably thinking what I thought when I first heard this. Man, that's bullshit. But I read the court documents, not just the filings from this particular brother who's really cool. Shout out to Woodstock, man. I'm working for you. We're working on it, getting you out of there. But I'm reading the transcripts from the judge in the court. What the judge was doing and saying was completely inappropriate. Like, this judge understands that this man is going to get out, and the state is going to have to pay this man a lot of money. But the judge is like, I'm still going to leave you in there until someone tells me otherwise. I was like, well, someone did tell you otherwise. I don't care. I'm still going to do it. And this judge doesn't have to worry about being prosecuted for his actions. You can't lock him up for this. This judge doesn't have to worry about having to pay, right, for taking this man's freedom illegally. This judge is power tripping big time. So Cody is right. You got to stop that. It was just the power tripping shit. It's crazy. Right. And this guy's going to get out. But I read the transcripts. I couldn't believe it. I listened to the man's story, and then I read about his story, and I'm just like, damn. A judge in America can, in fact, take your freedom and put you in a situation where you don't know if you're ever going to get your freedom back. It can happen. Can happen. That's a lot of power to give to a human. You know what I mean? A lot of power to give to a human. Do they use rank in the vet pod? No, they don't use rank in the vet pod. And that's the beauty of it is the vet pod is set up for veterans because veterans understand the soldiering attitude, the soldiering world. So it's just certain things, like you can sit down with a vet and talk to a vet and, work out a situation or diffuse a situation easier than you can with someone in general population, right? Sometimes you just ain't no talking to some of these people. But no, there's no rank structure. So you might have guys in there who were like, lower enlisted, E1s, E2s. You might have guys in there with like E6, 7s, some E8s in there, and you will have officers in there. You'll have guys in there who were like, I think they said they had a guy in there who was like a major. I want to say they had a guy who was a lieutenant colonel in there at one point. Of course, the commissions were all resigned, but no. And the vets just kind of look out for each other. But, when guys get to know you, like if a guy know you were a sergeant major or command sergeant major, they're probably going to, show you a little bit more respect. Some of them, some guys might not, but you don't get to pull rank. You can't say, I'm sergeant major or, I'm a lieutenant colonel. You're going to do what I say. It's not like that. It's not like that at all. It's like, hey, veterans in the eyes of Hillsborough County or the Hillsborough County Sheriff, veterans have earned this opportunity to get this type of help and to do this kind of time. And the sheriff has doubled and tripled down on it. He's like, look, I don't care if the guy has to, go out here and come back 5, 6, 7 times. We're going to keep working with him until we can get him the help and get him squared away and on his feet. So down to Marco to that. Shout out to Chad. Sheriff Chad.
Dom DeMarco.
And it's crazy too, because the sheriff down here is really committed to the vet pod. I saw he came while I was in there. I was in there for 2 months. I saw him come in there. The sheriff came in there. He just came in. He just pulled up and came in there. There's always some sort of not always, but they're open to tours. So a lot of people, a lot of organizations come in to have a look at how the vet pod looks and how it's run. They come in unannounced. People from as far away as Germany have come in to see what they're doing. And hopefully these people will take lessons learned from this and do something similar in their countries. We had the deputy sheriff, like the number 2, was at the graduation ceremony we had for the vets there who were graduating the resurgence program. He spoke and everything. He's former Air Force. There was a sister there. I think she's number 3 in command. I saw her 2 or 3 times just coming through, bringing in people, bringing in politicians, bringing in civilians. They really are keen on this vet pod, man. They really like what's going on. And I think it's something that should happen. I think it's something that people should do across the country. Not just, because especially in America where people are always thanking you for your service. I get so many people thank me for their service. I'm to the point where I don't even like hearing it, because most people that say it don't mean it, right? But when you see something like this, that's when you know they really care about your service and they're trying to help you. A lot of vets are in there for problems that they developed while they were serving. So they're serving their country. They're out doing America's business and they get mentally hurt. This is one of the things that, the vet pod talks about. This is one of the things we talk about. When we talk about mental health, and we talk about how a lot of soldiers will go do America's business in some far off land somewhere, some far away land. Like, look what's going on in Iran right now. In the Strait of Hormuz and all that, you have all those countries over there, UAE and Saudi Arabia, Dubai, and all that stuff over there. There are American service members, dying and getting severely injured there. And it's not even like a ground shoot 'em up kind of thing. You got pilots getting shot down, rescue teams going in there, getting jacked up, having to get them guys out. That's the job. So when a guy comes home or a woman comes home from service and, they got a broken leg or they got a busted ankle or their shoulder is jacked up, you can see that. And you can see someone walking around in with a cast on or one of those, braces on. You can see someone limping, right? If someone, loses a limb, you can see the missing limb. Or if you lose an eye, you can see the eye is gone. But if something happened up here, bro, you don't see that, right? Shout out to Brother Martin. This is one of the things he talks about all the time. You don't see it. You come back with serious injuries up here and you look normal. I could be sitting here I'm just normal right now, and then something can happen and it just something clicks. Like in that garage when that guy was talking crazy to me, something clicked and I did something to him. That's injury that's up here. And the injuries are sustained in the military while you're doing stuff. And you don't even have to go to war to get hurt like that. There's plenty of guys who are veterans that got hurt in training and never saw combat or never got deployed, but they're still hurt. So like physically hurt. And you got guys who go through things in the military that they don't talk about, but they're mentally hurt. Right. So, again, these are things that I learned while I was in there, and I'm committed to trying to help and better that program and maybe even get that program to expand to different counties and states in America, because we need that, man. These young men and women who serve, man, they earned that. They earned that. If God forbid something goes wrong and as you're a veteran and you hurt somebody, you do something and you have to go to jail, you should be able to serve in a vet pod with people who care. Hey, Frances, man, gonna make me put my glasses on, man. What's going on? Our culture system is about money. Jail is listed as legal slavery in the U.S. Now, when it comes to black men in our community, supported a president that co-wrote a bill that increased prison population by 30%, knowing when written 90% affected would be black men. So to me, the key is not to get caught up in the system. And if you do, you better have some money to pay the attorney. Facts. You know what I mean? That's facts. 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 He ain't lying. He ain't lying. It was fifth grade, man. It was Burton. Man, I thought it was sixth grade. But yeah, that's he's right. I mean, and here's the thing, like it's definitely a racial component. I ain't lying to you, man. It's definitely a racial component. But just so you guys know, in that vet pod where I was there, it was racially equal. There was it was as many white guys in there as it was people of color, mostly black. You know what I mean? But you had like Asian, there was a guy in there who was like Pakistani, but American. And he was a guy in there. We have some Asian guys kind of flow through there. But the racial breakdown was even. It was funny. It was kind of watching, and military guys understand that. Like even in the military, man, we know what time it is, bro. But in the jail, I would say here in Hillsborough County, I want to say there's just as many white folks locked up as black people, and there's a lot of women locked up, y'all. That's the thing that shocked me. A lot of women are locked up, bro. Yeah, everybody needs to get in them law books, bro. You ain't never lied. People need to understand that the system is designed to basically make money off of you. They really don't care about law. They don't care about justice or reform or, you know what I mean, helping. That's real talk, man. And one of the first things they'll tell you when you get locked up, one of the first things they'll tell you here in Hillsborough County, if you fight, let's say there's some guy attacks you and you sit there and you try to defend yourself and you try to fight back, both of y'all are going to get charged for felony assault, and that is a 5-year max. So they're going to be trying to get you 5 years for that if it happens in jail, right? And think about that, guys. Fucking 5 years? Are you serious? It's like, yeah, that's how they get down. You get into a fight, they ain't playing. Oh, you're going to get 5 years. So I was in there on a misdemeanor battery. Some other people were in there like DUIs and whatever. You can wind up in jail looking at, you know, a year max on your case, but you know you're not going to get the year. You're going to wind up doing a few months. That few months could turn into 3 years in prison because some dude decided to attack you and you defended yourself. You could wind up, like, you know what I mean, with 3 to 5 years. And then people say, well, you know, they're going to take into consideration what's going on. Like the guy attacked you, so they're just going to send him away for 5 years. Like, how do you know that? That's not written anywhere. You're going to be charged with what he was charged with. And if you don't have a lawyer, like Brother Frances just said, and I said, you don't have a lawyer, you get a public defender, bro, you might wind up doing 3 out of the 5 years for defending yourself. So like, and, you know, so, but yeah, I really, man, I don't know. I think that having an AI judge, I don't know if it's going to be that bad, to be honest with you. Ms. AKA lady's like, man, she got to me, just missed about 20 minutes. Glad you're back home. Praying it didn't affect baby girl too much. I knew it was something seriously. Got worried about this stuff for real. Thank you. and my daughter really stepped up. Don DeMarco to my not so little girl. She really stepped up. Here I am thinking, oh man, you know, my daughter can't really do stuff. You know, I got, you know, I gotta, you know, I'm sitting here trying to baby and coddle my little girl. She took care of business. We had a plan. She executed the plan flawlessly. She knew what to do, who to call. She continued. She stayed home. She went to school. You know, then she went to her mom's, got her scooter, brought it back here, and then kept going to school. She had one of the things that really kind of just hurt me was she had her school springtime recital thing, and I couldn't go. I go to all of her band things, and I couldn't go because I was locked up. But she rode her scooter there. It was on a Saturday. She went. I am so proud of my little girl. So now my parenting techniques have changed because my daughter will be 18 soon. So my thing is now I don't necessarily treat her as my little girl, my daughter. I'm really kind of transitioning into treating her as a roommate and preparing her for her next phase of life. It's like, hey, you know, really, okay, now you got to clean your room. You got to clean the kitchen. Like you got to clean up after yourself. You got to make sure the spaces are good. And you're not just doing that because your dad's telling you. Like when you're grown, if you want to leave the house, you're gonna probably have roommates because you're not gonna have your own place. So you want to be a good roommate, don't you? You don't want to be a nasty roommate that everybody wants to kick out, right? She's like, oh, didn't think about that. So we're working on that, teaching her how to cook. And yes, I'm teaching her about what's going on out here in the dating world. So my daughter won't my daughter will be able to find what she's looking for and understand what's going on. Was good, man. Appreciate it. 309 with the two. Is that £2, 2 quid, 2 something? Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
It'll be like this.
Uh-oh, wrong button. let me hit that Don DeMarco button.
Don DeMarco.
I think that's the £2 super sticker, man. I'm sorry I ain't got my glasses on, but thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming in. Hey guys, don't forget to hit that like button, please. I really appreciate it. We got Brother Prince up in the building. Anton, what's going on, man? What's good? Appreciate you, bro. The $5. $5, man. I really appreciate it, man. Welcome back, Airborne. Great to see you back on these YouTube streets. Yeah, I'm back in these trenches, man. Thanks for being there, man. Thanks for looking out for me, man. I can't explain to y'all how grateful I am to have this community, to be honest with you, bro. I mean, like I said, we small over here. We ain't got millions and millions of subscribers, but man, we rock with each other, don't we? And don't forget, I'm definitely going to be doing some in real life events. I'm trying to do some things. Like I said, I'm trying to really grow this platform. I think we have a lot to offer. I know we have a lot to offer. And I want to get us there. I want to get us there. And I'm going to get there with y'all help, man. Because y'all always here, you know what I mean? Y'all making it to where the algorithm has to do something. You know what I mean? Because of y'all, the algorithm is still pushing the content. Has to do something. Just can't make me go away. And I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. It's like Cody is saying, even if not convicted, you could be sitting there a long time before you ever get into court to fight it. That's the fact. And then that's going back to talking about if someone attacks you and you in jail and you defend yourself, even if you want to your day in court, you're gonna wind up spending some time. And so I mean, the system is messed up. You know what I mean? It's messed up. Yeah, I missed that recital, girl. The system is messed up. You know what I mean? But I mean, I will take this system over most systems on planet Earth. Kind of like what Andrew Tate was saying, and I get his point. Everyone should be able to bribe the system a little bit. So if I'm driving around the Philippines and a police officer pulls me over because he realized I'm American and I broke some sort of law, but I can give him, $20 worth of local currency and he lets me go. I mean, for the Philippines, that works. I ain't mad at it. You know what I mean? Should you be able to do that in America? Because that's what the 1% does. The 1% gets out of trouble all the time, routinely. They're bribing folks left and right, but we can't bribe. And that's what at this end, and that's what Andrew Tate was talking about. He's like, I want to live in a country where I can grease the wheels too. And he went to Romania, and that didn't really work out well for him because they really came for his ass. But I mean, it is what it is. Y'all got a vet pod in Cincinnati? I didn't know that. I need to take that information and give it to my people down here because from what I understand, this is the only vet pod in America. Like 100% is all vets. The guy who runs it is a vet. Sanctioned by the sheriff. I didn't know that. That's what's up. That's what's up. Appreciate that, cuzzo. You know what I mean? Don DeMarco to you. Appreciate that.
Don DeMarco.
You know what I'm saying? But like French Hair said, we all need to stay out of jail. We all need to stay out of jail. So I did a quick chat GPT thing on the pros and cons of AI judges, guys. Just a chat GPT, right? So one of the pros is greater consistency. Human judges can issue vastly different sentences for similar crimes. AI could apply laws more consistently across cases. 100% agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I think that's absolutely. As a matter of fact, let me pull this up. Let me pull this up. I think that I like that idea. And I'm just going to pull up the chat GPT thing. So Yeah, you don't want to find out. Like Jay was looking at that. No, you don't want to find out. So here we go. Let's pull this up. So according to ChatGPT, man, I like number one. I like the greater consistency because you see people who get locked up for misdemeanors, they kind of, get away with a smack on the wrist. And you'll see someone, well, let me flip that around. You'll see someone with a misdemeanor and wind up doing jail time. Maybe 6 months, maybe a year for a misdemeanor. Then you'll see someone with a felony to get a smack on the wrist. And, the court will say every case is different, but to me, that's just BS. You got somebody in here on a misdemeanor doing some time, and then you got someone, a real felon, that's done some shit, and you're just going to let them go. So, no, I think you will get greater consistency. I do agree with that. Reduce human bias. Judges can be influenced by race, gender, attractiveness. Yep. Social status, politics, or personal experiences. AI may reduce some form of human bias. I agree with that. Faster decisions. Yeah, you're going to get your decision in an instant. AI can process state law, statutes, and evidence much faster than humans, reducing court backlog. So, yeah. And that kind of goes to, I was saying maybe if you're not going to replace the judge completely, we'll maybe have some sort of AI assist for the judge for that part right there, because you want to be able to clear the backlogs, right? Ideally, you want to do that. But here's the thing. Do they really want to clear the backlogs? Because it's backed up. That means you have to stay in jail longer. That means that their buddy who bought the jail is going to get more money off of you, right? They don't want it to be fast, do they? They don't want you to go through there and within a matter of days, it's all done. They can't give you no time in jail. Remember, I spent 17 hours in intake when I went back. 17 hours, right? That was damn near a day. And then it was forever. It took days before I actually got to the pod. I'll tell you about that next week. Lower costs. Court systems spend billions on personnel and administration. AI could reduce operating costs. Never thought about that. But to reduce the operating costs means you got to doge the hell out of people who are working in the court, right? And I ain't gonna lie to you, I ain't got a problem if that young prosecutor who's trying to get me a year in jail got fired. I ain't gonna lie. Go ahead and lay him off. He can go work at Chipotle some damn where. I ain't gonna lie. But it was a lot of sheriff deputies in there working. You got the court clerks and all their folks in there working, the judge and all that. So, yeah, there's a lot of people that will lose their job, and those jobs pay a lot of money. 24/7 availability. AI doesn't sleep, take vacations, or retire. Cases could be reviewed around the clock. True. And that's what I mean. If you have some sort of maybe AI assist. Better data analysis. AI can analyze millions of prior cases and identify patterns and precedent that humans may overlook. Facts. I like that. Reduced emotional decision-making. We definitely need to do something about that, because I told you a story about my buddy who's locked up. The judge got emotional. Basically, the judge is just doing what he wants to do because he wants to. So judges are human and can be influenced by anger, sympathy, fatigue, or stress. AI is unaffected by emotions. And a lot of people say that it's emotions that make our system work, because it's not a perfect system, right? We're being, that's part of the deal. They're saying it's baked in, and it for better or for worse. I like the idea of reduced emotional decision making, but transparent sentencing frameworks. An AI system could explain exactly how it arrived at its sentencing recommendation using predefined criteria. I really like that. I really do like that. Right? It just kind of makes it cut and dry. Right? Improved access to justice. Minor disputes and low-level cases could be resolved quickly without expensive legal proceedings. Absolutely. If it was an AI option, I would have taken it. I would have taken it day one. And I don't think I would have spent a day in jail if there was an AI option. So maybe that's an option. AI judges are only available at the misdemeanor level for misdemeanor crimes, and maybe for traffic crimes, right? That'll free up judges to go do more important stuff, like deal with the felonies. What do y'all think about that? Less political influence. In some jurisdictions, judges are elected or potentially appointed. AI would not campaign for office or seek re-election. I really like that. So that's just 10 pros to what we're talking about right here. That's just 10 pros. I like some of that, y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Just want to catch up. Like, I want to catch up with, Cody's talking about Skynet. Hey, bro, as is Skynet should be in charge. Maybe. You know what I mean? Maybe. You know what I mean? Nuance is honestly the biggest part of justice. You're right. You're right. I mean, I don't want to disregard that. And we're about to get into the cons of AI judges here in a minute. And I bet you that's going to come up. But I got to tell you, man, I think AI will level the playing field, and it will take away the power and influence of the 1%. You guys, I'm always ragging on the 1%, but it will take away, on paper anyway, it will take away their advantage. But who's going to pay for the AI and who's going to program the AI? So the AI will have a backdoor program to let the 1% off. but when it gets down to the regular folks, I would think that it would be a little bit better. In certain instances, I don't know. I kind of like the idea of maybe AI does misdemeanors and traffic stuff. Miss AKA lady, like, if you understand the racial statistics and sentences, I believe our community would benefit the most. Other communities may not appreciate that consistency at all. You got a good point there. And I mean, Black people definitely, we deal with a lot. But like I said, it was a lot of white folks in there, man. I think I look at it more. I mean, I'm not trying to say that systemic racism doesn't exist. I know it does, but I am, I want to point out that the people at the bottom, the poorest and most vulnerable Americans out there are the ones who get caught up the most in this trap. So, and here in Florida, there's a lot of white folks get caught up in that trap. And, think about it. Black people ain't everywhere in Florida. So like, there are counties where there's not a lot of Black folks. And so those jails are full of white people. It's like that through like flyover country. Like, you go to North and South Dakota, like Oklahoma, away from Oklahoma City, when you out there in Idaho, there's a lot of white folks locked up. Like, it's not like those jails are empty. Those jails are full of people too. And a small difference in your case, for example, could have been the difference between a much longer or no sentence at all. I mean, bro, what got me with my case, was missing that hearing. I wouldn't have done a day in jail. I would have moved over to the Veterans Court. They would have accepted my case. It would have lasted longer. I'd have had to jump through a bunch of hoops, but I wouldn't have done a day in jail. The reason I got locked up and the reason that, I did this time again was because I missed that hearing. I wonder, would AI, if the whole court system was automated, run by AI, I'm talking about the lawyers too. What would that look like? No more public defender. You just got, you ain't got to pay for a lawyer. There's going to be a prosecutor and there's going to be a defense attorney, and it's all AI. What would that look like? What would that look like? Again, it boils down to who does the programming and all that. But could you imagine, like, okay, you get arrested, whatever, they take you in, and it's all AI. There's no human involved. The prosecutor is AI, the judge is AI, the defense lawyer is AI. You ain't got to pay for nothing, or you pay like you pay a flat rate or whatever. But you shouldn't have to pay nothing because it would be so many people put out of work. Like, the budget would go, it would be crazy. What would that look like? AI can definitely be biased. It's how it's learned, however it learns how it's programmed. So, and we've already seen that, but that could be programmed out. Or give the defendant a choice between AI and a real judge. Ooh, that would be good. That would be good. All depends on who and how it's programmed. Yep, Cody and I on the same page. Brother Prince Anton, man, he's like, will the AI judge be consistent when it comes to administering justice? That's the question. That's the question, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And Brother Jay is like, it'll be paid for by cutting jobs and eventually be cheaper Facts. You know what I mean? I agree with that 100%. Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, majority of those jails are filled with colonizers. Facts. Facts. Don DeMarco for that, bro. That's what I tell folks, man.
Dom DeMarco.
I tell folks all the time, man. I'm like, look, bro. Black folks, if you will believe the folks who be talking about this shit, like they were like, man, 85% of black people have been incarcerated. Like, no way in hell, man. It ain't that many of us in America. America's a big country. Right? It's mostly white folks here. So, you know, it's when people say these stats, I look at them, I'm like, bro, if that were true, that means that one in 10 African Americans or black Americans in America would not have been incarcerated at some point in their life. And that's not the case. You gotta understand, most people haven't been to jail. Most people don't know what it's like to go through what I went through. Most people, you know, most Americans don't know what that's like. Right? Just like most people today, that these young guys, you know, the Gen Alpha, Gen Z, you know, millennials, the young millennials, they don't know what it's like to get punched in the mouth. They don't know what it feels like. So most people have no idea. I mean, the level of violence in our system of our justice system is crazy. And most people don't know what violence is. They never dealt with it in real life. It's like the first time they've dealt with it. And most of those people who do encounter the system, they encounter it because of drunk driving or, you know, some silly misdemeanor, loitering or trespass or something like that. So, bro, man, you know what I mean? Like AI would be consistent. There's a movie, Brother Casual Germs in the building, man. What's good, fam? There's a movie about this. You're not talking about that Tom Cruise movie, are you? The one when they had the ladies that they would, you know, they would determine if you're innocent or guilty. No, they determined you were guilty, and then Tom Cruise's character will go arrest you. You talking about that? I don't know. But like Cody is saying there are a lot of old people that don't know what it's like to be punched in the mouth. Yeah. Bro, like that's what I mean. You know what I mean? And Brother Casual Germ's gonna find that movie. I appreciate it. Before, but I'm thinking about movies. You know, I was talking about PTSD and how the military is affected, soldiers are affected by war and stuff like that. Shia LaBeouf did a movie called Man Down. That's one of the movies. To watch a lot of movies in the veteran pod here in the researchers program. They watch movies to kind of help you think, and you know, it's part of the classes, right? Man Down. If you guys haven't seen that movie, Man Down is definitely one of those movies, and it kind of shows what could happen. Like it's kind of dark, but the shit in it happens. And if you've never seen it, definitely check it out. If any of the mods out there, man, if you guys got a second, if you can pull that up on IMDb or something, or Google it real quick, Man Down, Shia LaBeouf, and drop it in the chat so you guys see what I'm talking about. I appreciate it. Minority Report. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Prince, like Minority Report. That movie was kind of cool. Casual Germ's like, nah, not Minority Report. So we'll figure it out. It's called Mercy with Chris Pratt. Oh, that's fairly new. Chris Pratt's in it. I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna look that one up. There it is, Casual Germ. Do me a favor, man. Post that in the chat, will you? Like the Man Down. I thought. Yeah, put that in the chat. If you guys could put that in there, I appreciate it. So let's look at the cons, right? We've already looked at the pros to AI, judges. Let's look at the cons. Let me make myself small over here, get bigger picture. So let's look at the cons. All right, AI can inherit bias. I think Miss AKA Lady said that. I think Cody's King said that. If trained on historical court data, AI may learn to perpetrate existing biases in the court system. Yeah. We've seen that already. Like they had AI working as HR, and they used historical AI data or historical the AI's the human resources historical data to train the AI, and the AI became extremely racist. Like it wouldn't hire any black people, and they had to reprogram the AI. Same thing when someone unleashed the AI online, and the AI became extremely racist. So we would definitely have to monitor how the AI is trained. But yeah, that's definitely inherent bias. No human compassion. Judges can consider unique life circumstances, remorse, mental health issues, and rehabilitation potential. AI may struggle with nuance, facts. And you guys were saying that as well. But at the same time, wouldn't AI see that certain issues with, mental health or rehabilitation potential, wouldn't AI learn that depending on how it was trained? I wonder. But definitely a machine is a machine. It does not care. Doesn't even, doesn't care about humans. It's just going to do its job. Lack of accountability. Who's responsible for AI when it gets it wrong? The programmer, the court, the government. Good point. Who's responsible now when the court gets it wrong, right? The state. The state's responsible. If you can prove that you got locked up because AI misread, case law or something like that, you shouldn't have been locked up. It was, if you can prove, just like you can prove now. Well, my friend gets out and he can prove that the judge was wrong. There was misconduct from this guy on the bench. What happens? The state has to pay him. So if you're in state court, the state's going to have to pay you. And if you're in federal court, the feds are going to have to pay you. But there's definitely going to be a lack of accountability, which will have to just be kind of, baked into the whole program. You have to say, all right, we're using this as a state, so we're responsible. If the AI screws this up, we're going to have to, probably pay that person in some sort of civil payout or something like that. Algorithmic errors. A software bug or flawed model could affect thousands of cases before anyone notices. Facts. I mean, if we had AI judges, it would have to be human oversight. So you probably have panels of judges just going over the AI judgments, and then that panel of judges can come in and step in at any time. But yeah, you could definitely get algorithmic errors. I mean, it will be open to being manipulated, like bugs and stuff like that. You can download a virus, you upload a virus in there somehow, and it can't mess it up or whatever. So yeah, due process concerns. Defendants have constitutional rights to challenge evidence. It may be difficult to challenge a complex AI decision. I mean, you could challenge the evidence. I don't know. I get it. I get it. It will have to be a really sharp AI. I get it. So again, going back to having that human oversight, maybe there's a human judge that's along on that case, or a panel of judges that can override that AI before it makes the determination. Maybe, I don't know. Limited understanding of human behavior. AI may analyze data but fail to understand motives, credibility, emotions, and context. Yes. I understand that. And I don't know how you get around that. Perhaps, when you have self-aware AI, perhaps, but even then, self-aware AI knows I'm a machine and you're a human. So there's definitely a difference there. Vulnerability to manipulation. That's what I was just saying earlier. Hackers or insiders could potentially alter AI systems or training data. So yeah, 100%, absolutely. That could absolutely happen. That would be my biggest concern. That's my concern now with AI. That's my concern. We saw it the first day of the Iran war. First day of the war. AI comes up with a targeting package. There was no human oversight. And what happens? A school full of babies got destroyed, right? A school full of little girls got zapped because no one checked the AI targeting package. So, that's just human error, not, being lazy or whatever. But someone can hack that same targeting data and put faulty information in there and, put America in a bad spot. So yeah, vulnerabilities are there, man. Public trust issues. Many people would be uncomfortable having their freedom decided by a machine. I ain't gonna lie to you. For a misdemeanor, I'll give it a try. But if it were a felony, yeah, I might have issues with the machine. I don't know. Because I mean, when you look at public trust, most people don't trust the system anyway, especially anybody who's close to it or dealt with it. They already don't trust the system. So I think public trust may increase a few points, to be honest with you, if they worked out the other bugs. Constitutional questions. The U.S. legal system was built around human judges exercising judgment and discretion. That's the one you can't get around. That's the one you can't get around. The Constitution, bro. Yeah, it's all about humans being involved. Yeah, that's the one you can't get around. Justice is more than math. The law often requires moral judgment, not just statistical analysis. AI may be able to calculate risk, but not wisdom. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. Chat GPT pulled all this up for me. Oh, look, chat wanted me to ask y'all questions. y'all want to do that? Questions for the audience? Would you trust AI judge if it was proven to be 20% less biased than human judges? Ooh, good question, Chat GPT. Hey, would y'all trust that? Would y'all trust an AI judge if it were proven to be 20% less biased than human judges? Would you trust it? That's a good one. That's a good one, bro. Would y'all trust that shit? Ted's in the building, man. What's good, man? What is good, fam? Good to see you, man. Yeah, man, I got locked up, bro. Go back to the first hour. I explained exactly what happened to me, but bottom line, man, I got locked up. I got locked up. Could this crazy spam calling from the lenders be due to AI? Yeah, bro. Casual germ. Yes, it's definitely AI. My voice files are always clogged up because of those weirdos. Yeah, that's AI. That's definitely AI. And again, they just took away jobs, but you know, we all get tired of dealing with that. Define. Oh, that was for Cody. And that was Mercy. That's right. I'm just trying to catch up with the chats. Definitely Man Down. If you guys haven't seen Man Down, check that out. You definitely want to see Man Down. Shoot. Casual German, I thought you had a wrench behind your name. I'm gonna take care of that tonight. We gotta get you your mod benefits, bro. You're day one. We gotta have that on there. Gotta get your wrench on there. So I mean, that's a good question, guys. What do you guys think? Would you trust an AI judge if it were proven to be 20% less biased than human judges? And if the answer is no, what percentage would you need to trust the AI? 30% more, 30% less biased, 40% less biased. I mean, I like the idea. There's definitely a lot of gray areas that will be eliminated. I'm with you there, Prince. Taz, man, I hope you are good, bro. Good to see you, man. I definitely need to jump on your platform next time you're doing something, man. So next time I see you, man, I'm gonna jump on there. Because it's good to be back. It is definitely good to be back. Claude is amazing. Claude is 100% amazing, bro. I gotta give you that. My buddy BJ. BJ is a cool kid in Hollywood. Like he's a producer, actor, comedian, writer. And bro, he turned me on to Claude right before I got locked up, as a matter of fact. He turned me on to Claude, and man, I can't get enough. Whenever I do my writing, I use Claude to edit my work. And I'm telling you, man, it's really good. It's really good, man. Y'all are saying, nah, y'all wouldn't trust it. I'm telling you, man, I don't know, man. I think I would trust it. And what percentage would it take? Is it just like just no way you guys would never ever want to mess with AI judges, man? Like I missed out on 2 clients because of that BS. Oh yeah, bro. He's talking about that. Like the judgment is what is being called into question, though. I mean, I think the judgment would be better, man. And you're welcome, brother. Casual German. I should have been done, man. Thank you. Just thank you for being here and rocking with me, from the beginning. Yeah, Ted's like, that's a tough question, man. Cody was saying no. He would need, what is that, 40,000%? Probably like 4 billion, million, trillion percent better. I mean, I hear you, man. I hear you. I don't know. He said, in a utopia, sure. Casual Germs like, yeah. On paper, sure. Should have used Claude as my lawyer, man. Look, that definitely would have been better than that Miss Payne. Shit, I wish she'd have been using Claude. Jay is like 20% works for me. Yeah, Miss AK lady, like everybody else, she ain't never seen this out of a courthouse. Like shit. I can remember the first time I was in the courtroom. Not for me, it was in one of my homeboys who got caught. I got away. But he beat the case. They let him go at the arraignment. He beat the case and walked right up out of there. This is before metal detectors. I was in there with my homie. And he walked in there with a 380. After the court hearing, we walk out of there. He was like, yeah, I won't go to jail today, no way. And he pulls out his 380 while we on the bus going home. Like, man, my friends are crazy. Like, I'm in the courtroom. He got a 380 like he gonna do something. You know what I mean? But yeah, Brother Prince Anthony saying at least 50%. I ain't gonna lie to you, I'll take the 20%, but 50%, 100%. I'm in here. I'm all in. You know what I mean? Yeah, hey, bro. I told you, man, I grew up crazy, man. we grew up in the wild badlands, man. And if I was to say his name, Frances knows. I think Frances might know him. He didn't go to school with us. He went to school on the other side of town, but he was a Blair boy. He was like he kicked it on Blair. So like in my neighborhood, like one half of my neighborhood, like Blair boys and all that. The other half like North Avondale types. You know what I'm saying? I was like in the middle. And I had people all over, man. But yeah, man, he came in there with a 380, bro. He was like, I wasn't leaving. First person that gave me a shoulder holster is this guy. You know what I mean? Shout out to him. You gonna be live on Wednesday tomorrow, man? Yeah, I'll come through. I'll definitely talk. Yeah, I'll jump on there. I could definitely talk about mental health, man, because sitting down and being incarcerated for 65 days really messed up my mental health. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was rough. It was rough. So here's another question. We'll do these questions and we'll wrap this up. I do want to show y'all at least one video about why I think AI judges should be in, because there's some crazy stuff going out there. Should AI only assist judges rather than replace them? I hit on that already. If AI and human judges disagree, who should have the final say? Ooh, that's a good one. If you had an AI judge and then you had human oversight, I think that the humans should have final say. I think the humans should have final say. But I think you should also be given the opportunity to appeal it if that final say, I think both sides should, like the defense and the prosecution, should be able to appeal that final say. But I think the final say should come to humans. Was I bored out of my mind? I wasn't, man. When I was locked up, I wasn't bored. I was not bored because I'm still in jail. And you still got to move around the facilities. Like once I left the pod, like I'm gonna talk about this next week when I talk about what it was like to sit down. That might even be a two-parter because there's a lot to cover. But I was never bored. My senses were heightened and I was keenly aware of what was going on around me, who was where doing what. I'm watching shit. I'm looking at everything. Like, bro, I'm in jail. I'm in here with a bunch of crazy people. I'm in here with deputies that don't give a shit. There were some deputies in there who really cared, but I would say most of the deputies in there were indifferent. They didn't care. They didn't care if you died. They didn't care, you know what I mean, if you fell down and hurt yourself and broke something. They just didn't give a shit. Then you had you had deputies in there who wanted you to hurt. They really got off on you being hurt or whatever. You had those deputies, and then you had a small percentage of deputies who really cared. And they would bend over backwards to help you. They didn't like what was going on. So you had that. But man, I was many things when I was locked up, but I was never bored. I was even in the vet pod. Even in the vet pod, bro. I kept my eyes open, man. All of us did. Because I'll tell a story about some of the stuff that I saw in there, but you're dealing with some shit, bro. Like you're dealing with people who are dealing with some real things. So I was never bored, man. I watched a guy, and I'm gonna talk about this next week, but I watched a guy lose his grip on reality in the vet pod. I watched his mind just slip away. And they had to remove this guy. And I'll tell that story next week, man. So definitely you want to show up for that. Yeah, the first 4 days were rough, man. The first 4 days were the roughest for me. It was just what was going on was just crazy. Just, again, the shit that I saw and everything. Do me a favor, guys. Hit that like button, hit that share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. If you haven't subscribed, if you're brand new to the platform, thank you for coming through. I hope you like what you see. Please don't be shy. Send a question. I don't bite unless you pay me to. If you got any questions, concerns, statements, say what you want over here. We definitely, we definitely believe in free speech. We want to hear your opinion. Be respectful. That's all we ask. Just be respectful, man. Like we owe old heads over here. We know what time it is, man. We respectful folk. Just be respectful, man. If you new to my platform, you come over here, our platform, I shouldn't say mine, it's our platform. You come in here to our platform and you get in the chat and start wilding out, man, we just gonna ban you. Yeah, we just ain't even gonna deal with it, man. We just gonna ban you. If I'm in a good mood, I might see, you write something crazy. I might put the spotlight on you for a second, ask you a couple questions like, hey, man, what's going on? You want some attention? Are you really trying to help yourself? Or are you just, looking to make trouble? And if you're just looking to make trouble, we're going to get rid of you, man. We don't even play that over here, right? Because I mean, I would love to be able to like, yo, meet me at so-and-so, put the gloves on. We're going to sell it like men, but I got arrested for beating up somebody. So I ain't on that no more ever in this country. I'm just not on that. I'm just not on it. But yeah, man, I saw someone lose his mind. And it had a lot to do with, like hardcore substances and drugs. Like this guy just sat there and watched him lose it, bro. Them deputies seen some stuff. Deputies in there, man, they seen some stuff, but a lot of the deputies, like some, not gonna say a lot, but there are deputies there who just want you to suffer. They like watching people suffer. The first thing I noticed about actually going into the jail, again, we'll talk about this next week. Here in Hillsborough County, you start in one facility. That's not like the jail. That's just like that's just where you get processed in. And they got a couple cells there or whatever, but they have a really big jail that they have to transport you to. Once you get there, that's when it all starts. And when I got there, I walked into that facility and all I felt was despair and sorrow. It was bad, bro. And you see the people moving around. And like, again, some of the guards, some of the nursing staff, they got nursing staff there, man. They just don't give a shit about you. You got to fight the nursing staff. Some of these nurses, you got to fight them, like legally with paperwork, like writing complaints and stuff like that, just to get them to do their job, bro. And it's, I had to go through that. I'll talk about it, next week, man. But my blood pressure was so damn high, man. They thought I was going to stroke out. I'll tell you all that. I'll tell you guys all those stories. Had to fight literally just paperwork and dealing with a couple of the nurses there. It was just really bad. Again, in whatever field it is, you're going to have good people and bad people, police, deputies, nursing, air traffic, you name it, judges, lawyers. You're going to have your good and you're going to have your bad. But you spend so much time in jail fighting the people who are supposed to be there to help you. And I don't mean physically fighting them. I'm talking about just doing paperwork, making complaints. The jail is really good on following up with that stuff, though. Like you make a complaint, bro, they don't just brush that shit off. They doing the full-blown investigation. So they do a good job of that here. But, man, well, a lot of this other deputies see that they cause, bro. A lot of deputies, they cause that shit. Yeah, I bet you see that. Yeah, food pantries especially, bro, you definitely see it, man. You definitely see that with mental health stuff. Yeah, the first 32 hours sucked, bro. Look, bro, I'm telling you, the first 4 days were the roughest. So next week we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about what it's like to be incarcerated. I think you guys are gonna really enjoy that episode because you'll be able to ask questions. Because most of my listeners, I would say 95% of my listeners will never go through this type shit. So I'm sure y'all gonna have a lot of questions, and I got answers. So let's see. Would you want AI deciding a traffic ticket, a divorce, or a murder trial? Definitely want AI deciding my traffic ticket, and I definitely would want. I'm on the fence about family court with AI. I'm on the fence. I'm leaning towards it. But when it comes to like murder, that's where I would probably want a human, even though AI might be a little better, or a human AI hybrid kind of thing. That's where I am with it, man. Where y'all at with it? Will you be cool with the traffic ticket, AI, dealing with AI and traffic court misdemeanors? Definitely, I'm cool with AI. Family court, I could be convinced to go with AI. I think you should be able to have a choice. I think you should be able to choose AI versus human in family court. I would probably choose AI. But if you're dealing with a serious felony, I would probably want a judge or a hybrid. Like Cody is dead set against. He's like, no to all three. Nah, man, I'm telling you, man, that human element in the court system is horrific. You can get a good judge, but you can get a really bad judge, man. And you talking about your freedom. We're talking about your life. You know what I mean? And then the last question is justice primarily about consistency or compassion? I would say a little bit of both. But sometimes you don't get compassion. Sometimes you get too much compassion. There's certainly no consistency there. I watched the 2 women who stole stuff. They smack on the wrist. I go over here, but it comes to me. I hit a dude in the chest a couple times, and they're like, they want you to go to jail for 6 months to a year. So I mean, it's it is what it is. Like your county used to have 2 county jails to save money. They built a new one to hold the population of both of them, closed them. One is now used as a holding area for the court. The other was demolished. They're probably going to build even a bigger facility, bro. That's one of the things, man. There's so much money in locking people up. Like I talked about the food, whoever wins the contract for the food, we're going to talk about that next week too. The commissary, who wins the commissary, who wins that, bro. I'm talking about a little package of M&Ms, like or Snickers bar, like you want a Snickers bar on commissary, bro. $3. $3 for a bag of potato chips, bro. You talking like a $1.50 or something like that, bro. A little bag of goldfish, $3. I mean, it's crazy the amount of money. Like ramen noodles, for what they charge you for one package of ramen noodles, you could buy a whole case. Right? It's just so much money. And then like to use the phones and all that. We'll do a show about that when we talk about the money involved in incarceration, man. It will blow your mind, the kind of money involved in that. And people just keep making jails. It's just like System of a Down has that song. They're trying to build a prison. That song came out in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, something like that. If you haven't heard that song, you need to check it out. They're trying to build a prison. And that's the song goes. They're trying to build a prison. They're trying to build a prison for me and you to live in, another prison system. They're trying to build a prison for me and you. It's that speed rock, bro, hard rock, whatever. But I love System of a Down, and I love that song. I'm gonna see if I can reach out and get permission to use that song, because I would love that song to be the intro song for our Crime and Punishment Tuesdays. Because they are trying to build a prison, man. They're trying to build a prison. Listen to that song, guys. Either way, the judges are the problem that needs to be fixed. That much is clear. Facts. And how do we fix judges? If you live in a state where you get to vote on it, you vote them out. That's what so many people worry, so much about, who goes to Washington, who the president's going to be. Screw that, man. You want to know who the prosecutor, you want to know who the prosecutor is going to be. Like, the state prosecutor, who's that? That's who you want to know that. You want to know who's, vote for who's going to be a judge. You need to research these judges and judges and look at what they've done, and you make sure you vote for a good judge. This is more important. This is what's going to affect your life. It doesn't matter. Like, yeah, Trump's in office and he's tearing up the world. But, how much does it really affect us in America? Gas prices are higher, which means everything else is higher. Food costs more and all that. And people are on edge because of ice and everything. But at the end of the day, right now, under this administration, we're not worried about them coming to take your freedom. Right? That's when people are like, yo, locally, like the sheriffs, the local police, like the prosecutor's office, man, they come take your freedom. They can put you before a judge, and judge like, yeah, we're going to take your freedom and lock you up. So that has a more impactful, that's more impactful in your life than who goes to Congress or who goes to the White House. So make sure you guys are paying attention. We got, elections are coming up in November. Start looking at these judges. Right? Don't just vote for them because they're a Democrat or they're a Republican, man. Go do some research on them. See what they're doing. See what they were doing before, they became a judge, how long they've been a judge. Look at their record, because judges, we need to be, get good judges in there and keep them in there. And the minute they start acting up, get rid of them. You're right about that, bro. These judges are bad. Judges are definitely the problem. Shout out to Cody for that one. That was a good one, bro. And Brother Prince is like, the one that was demolished was redeveloped into luxury housing. Yeah, that's another thing too. They had 2 jails in their county. They built a big jail that can house all those people, and then they knocked down the 2 jails. And then when one of the jails that they demolished, they turned into luxury housing. So who made all that money? The same person who owned the jail before probably made all that money. Like, oh no, someone else bought it. Bullshit. One of their other people bought that. They got prime land and prime real estate, and they built that up. They didn't close that jail because it was overcrowded. They don't care about overcrowding. That person who owned that land wanted to put housing on there. So that's what that was, man. It's all a play. And next week when I tell you about overcrowding, man, I know a little something about that, man. It was so undercrowded. Yeah, cause metal music is my shit too, bro. When Unlocking the Truth, we're young, man. Man, those little boys, those brothers are rocking out. For those who don't know, Unlocking the Truth were three young black guys from New York that would go out. They loved heavy metal, and they would go out and play heavy metal. Guy playing the lead guitar, guy playing the bass, one of the kids playing the drums. And they were like 9, 10 years old, something like that. They're on YouTube. You can just put in Unlocking the Truth, and you can watch them perform in New York. They're on the street just performing, playing heavy metal stuff, and people will give them tips and stuff like that. Those kids went on to get a music deal, record deal, and they went on to drop some hits. They had like one album. One of the songs on that album is called Monster. Man, you should check it out, bro. If you like that type of music, which I do, I work out to it sometimes. I like it for whatever reason. Man, those kids, but the band broke up. Man, those kids were fun to watch, man. No Diddy. Like it was fun to watch them grow as musicians. Yeah, man, I love Rage. Definitely Rage Against the Machine, man. You know, I'm definitely a big fan of Slipknot, Metallica. I listen to all that, bro. All of it. And System of a Down, those are Armenian guys out of LA, bro. They are, like it was System of a Down, man. They haven't done anything in a while, I don't think. But they're there, man. They are there. But definitely check out Unlocking the Truth. Yeah, check that out. Yeah, the owner of the land made a ton of money, bro, in that deal. They bulldozed down to jail so they can build some, some McMansions. Yeah, he made a ton of money. I ain't mad, but that's just how the system works. That's how the system works, y'all. Yeah, man. So that's it, guys. That's it. Well, no, before we end it, I almost forgot. That's not it. That's not it. There's more, but wait, there's more. I had a couple in the description. I got 2 videos in there. But I want to show you this one video of this woman in Miami, well, it's South Florida somewhere. I want to say it's Miami. What she did and what she was charged, what deal she got. This is something I talked about the whole time I was going through my little thing or whatever. I want you guys to watch this, and you guys will kind of understand why I am talking about using AI instead of judges. All right, so check out this news clip from Local News 10. This is down in Miami, if I'm not mistaken. A woman gets probation after pleading guilty to hit and run that left the man badly injured, right? So check this out. I hope we're not glitching too bad, but let's get into it. Here we go.
Only on Local 10, a driver who's responsible for a hit and run that left 2 people seriously injured, apologizing in court as she accepted a plea deal. One victim telling the judge the sentence doesn't even come close to the pain she caused. Local 10's Terrell Forney is live in Miami with a dramatic day in court. Terrell?
Yeah, both of the victims tied to this crime were inside of the courtroom as the judge accepted this change of plea. But the woman who is accused of carrying out this crime, she's now been convicted, of course, and it appears that she is remorseful. Angela Pico's courtroom apology was in front of the 2 men that she hit with her car and then fled during a hit-and-run crime.
It's too late for that. She had her opportunity that day at the bridge.
The victims were on scooters riding along the causeway in Bay Harbor Islands in October of 2024. After Angela struck the men, police pulled her over at a nearby Walgreens, where she told officers with body-worn cameras that she just didn't want to go back alone.
I don't want to go back, but I don't want to go alone.
Angela was arrested and later released on bond.
Slow, easy.
As Nelson Garcia struggled to push through with his new normal.
I spent around 3 months in the hospital after the accident. I had so far 9 surgeries, and I have my body full of scars. I won't be able to walk again the same way. I won't be able to run.
Today's court hearing allowed Angela to formally change her plea.
Pled guilty. The court accepts your guilty plea at this time.
The judge handed down a sentence of 5 years of reporting probation, 100 hours of community, and 1 day in jail, every year, the anniversary of the crime during Angela's probation. The victims were expecting more.
I don't see justice there. I understand and respect your decision. I won't put against it. This is a failure for what I've been fighting for the last year now.
We finally got our verdict in the court. It's been a very long journey. It's been very long, painful, and emotional journey.
So the judge granted a downward departure in this case, but Angela Pico is considered a convicted felon. While inside of this court hearing, the judge was made aware of some prior driving infractions against her, and for that reason, she added 12 hours of driving school as part of her sentence. We are live in Miami. I'm Terrell Forney, Local 10 News.
All right.
Turning now.
All right. All right. So do y'all see why I'm wondering if AI judges would be better than human judges? Y'all saw right there, man. You get these two guys who, let's keep it 100. These dudes are clearly gay, right? So there's going to be some bias in there. It could be an anti-biased against gay people, you know what I mean? You know, the HTDV people. It could be pretty privileged, like Miss A lady was saying. These dudes were riding scooters. They got ran over. She ran them over in her SUV. The police find her, and like, you got to go back there. She's like, I want to go back, but I don't want to go back by myself. She hit these guys and ran these guys over with her SUV, almost killing these guys, right? You know how much time she did in jail so far? However much time it took for her to get booked initially. At some point, they took her into custody to book her. I'm thinking at some point, because they couldn't just let her go. If they let her go home without, because, we saw the picture of the mugshot, so she had to go through the process. So she had to go through intake. However long that took. It took me 7 hours the first time. So let's assume it took her 7 hours to go, to go there, get everything done, and go back home. All right. She goes to the court. Right? She's saying not guilty. Her lawyer's working the magic, trying to get a good deal. Finally, they get a deal. 100 hours of community service. 5 years of probation, and you have to do a year in jail. I mean, you have to do 1 day per year in jail on the anniversary of the crime. So she's going to do however long she took for intake. Let's say it was 7 hours. Plus, she's going to have to do 5 days over 5 years. I did 65 days for misdemeanor, battery. A guy I barely hit 2 times. I barely connected with the man 2 times. She ran over 2 human beings with a vehicle. Right. Oh, and she had some other driving infractions, so she had to go to driver's school. Oh, okay. These dudes are done. These dudes are done, and one guy can barely walk again. So this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about, man. Like, you got gender bias there. Like I said, it might be a little something because those are 2 gay dudes. They were riding scooters. Like I said, this is what you get for riding a scooter. And Cody's like, free my girl. Cody, you don't even like Botox like that, bro. She got so much Botox in her lips. Typical Miami thing. You know what I'm saying? See, you're gonna get in trouble. I'm surprised YouTube didn't take that out, man. You're gonna get in trouble. Oh, that's what you're saying. Oh no, you're saying what I was saying. Scooters, like that's community service. So you see, Cody, you be on the fence, man. I ain't trying to get in trouble with YouTube. And I ain't trying to have the HD TV people come after me either. But in this situation, man, I feel for them dudes, bro. I do feel for them. Man, you got ran over by somebody, and this is all they get. Like, bro, you can't even walk anymore. I ain't gonna lie, man. She should have gotten more time. I'll BS aside, man. She should have gotten more time. Even if it was just in a camp. Like, we're gonna make you do 3 months in the camp or something. She should have gotten more time. They were trying to give me 365 days for punching a dude in the chest twice. Come on, man. Misdemeanor. She cops to a felony. And she gets 5 days in jail over 5 years. And I'm here to tell you, the first day she goes in to surrender herself to do that 1 day in jail, she gonna spend, 7, 8 hours to get in process, whatever it takes. She might sit in the cell for a couple hours, eat lunch or something, and then they're gonna begin to out process her and she's gone. She's not going to do 24 hours in the facility times 5. That's not going to happen. You're going to do intake. Then they're going to have you sit down in your cell for a hot second, and then you're gonna do the out processing and go home. And then that's the first time it's gonna be the longest. The second time she comes in there, like, oh yeah, this is the lady that has to do that one day. Man, she probably want to do 3 or 4 hours. Like, man, just take her picture, run through the process, and then she'll probably go into intake, do the stuff that you got to do. I'll tell you all about that next week, guys. And then she'll probably go right into the line to get out of jail. Probably won't even go to a pod. She probably won't go to a cell. She'll just go right into the, okay, you did intake, now do outtake and go home. That's what's going to happen. So why even do that? We got Dusto in the building. What's happening, fam? Scam Likely doing his thing, man, doing his thing. That's look at that. Casual Germ was like, bro, he's going full Nat Turner if that happens. Hey, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, for stuff like that, for misdemeanors and traffic offenses, man, I think I would opt to take the AI judge. I think I would opt to take that, man. Now, for real hardcore felonies and real crimes, financial crimes and stuff like that, I would probably opt for some sort of hybrid. I would love to have AI involved. I think I would opt for some sort of hybrid. But it is what it is, man. And there was another story I was going to show you guys about a woman who left her child in the car. And she wound up getting like 30 days in jail or something like that for almost, deleting a child. Again, she'll get way more time for that. That video is in the description. If you want to check it out, check it out. I'm not going to play it. Yeah, definitely a terrible driver, bro. She ran on people right over. 5 days over 5 years, man. So YouTube ain't as bad because they used to be on Cody hardcore. Like YouTube used to be all over Cody, man. So I guess they done chilled out. So I appreciate that, guys. We're done. Next time I come on tomorrow, Byron Allen, that's the comedian turned billionaire. Byron Allen bought BuzzFeed, and he wants to compete with YouTube. He wants to transform BuzzFeed into a direct competitor for YouTube and streaming and stuff like that. We're going to talk about this tomorrow. I think this is a really good thing, and especially for content creators. But I think that someone who could really, really challenge YouTube will be better for those of us who create content and for those who are thinking about doing it, because YouTube is definitely going to take this threat seriously. You got a guy who's a billionaire who knows a lot of billionaires. They can come up with some money and they can challenge YouTube for supremacy of the streaming space, because Rumble ain't real. Locals and all that, whatever, they never had a real shot. But this guy, Byron Allen, the guy who owns the Weather Channel, this dude, yeah, he might be able to pull it off. So tomorrow we're going to talk about that. Should the state have to pay for licensing bad drivers? Would you charge the states, or would you charge the instructor who who signed off on her? Like, would you charge the person who administered the test? I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good question. He bought BuzzFeed. Byron Allen bought BuzzFeed, and Huffington Post was part of that deal, and it's another platform that they had is all part of that deal. So Byron Allen bought BuzzFeed. We're gonna talk about that tomorrow, guys. I'm gonna come back tomorrow at 5:00. We're gonna talk about that, because I think that'd be a good conversation. And then tomorrow I'll drop the link if anybody wants to come up and join the conversation on that. We'll talk about it. We'll put the link in there if anybody wants to talk about it. But YouTube definitely is a monopoly, and they are working without any challengers to their superiority. And I think that this acquisition of BuzzFeed and what Byron Allen is trying to do, at a minimum, is going to get YouTube to drop all the extra BS. They're going to stop shadow banning platforms like this. They're going to go back to pushing everybody like they did when it first started, and they're going to start giving away more money. So yeah, bro, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. So I hope you guys can make it. I appreciate each and every one of you, man. Thank y'all so much for rocking out with me and for looking out for me and wondering where I was, man. I like I said, I am so grateful. I'm so honored to have you guys as my YouTube family, man. And we're going to grow this platform, guys. We're going to have some fun. We're going to grow this platform. We're gonna make it happen. But that's it. That's all we got for today, man. I will be back tomorrow, 5 o'clock. I'm definitely gonna do some shorts and stuff. I'm trying to get the algorithm to like us again. So you're gonna see me just putting out a whole bunch of stuff. And hopefully I'll see y'all tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, be safe. I love you. I'm DL Saint. This is the I Really Want to Know podcast. Like, share, subscribe. Send it to a friend. We out. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.
Thanks for watching. We really appreciate your support. And if you like that video, check out this one or maybe that one. We'll see you around. Peace.